Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, this is Kenyan Revolutionary. Karibu, 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 karibu. Please, 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 please take a seat. What a wonderful day. Tomorrow, we have big events happening across the nation, across the world. I believe Great Britain is having some, want to have elections, England to be exact. They are going to vote their new prime minister. In United States, they will be celebrating their Independence Day, July 4th. And in Kenya, there shall be protest as it was scheduled. So we have big things happening, okay? Big things happening. But that's not what our concentration today is. What we are going to concentrate on is the fact that I think there's a memo that has been passed around, I think through the DCI and all these law enforcement people that are saying you are not allowed to say Ruto must go. They're saying that you could be charged for inciting people for saying Ruto must go. What kind of law is this? We shall delve into that. That's why I have it on my thumbnail as Ruto must go, because I am defiantly reminding this administration and its security organ that Kenyans can freely express themselves by saying Ruto must go if that's how they feel, okay? That's why I say hashtag Ruto must go. He must go. He must go. Now, the question that we have been grappling with for days, and I was in the X space where Miguna was taking questions and giving suggestions. I listened for over an hour, and I was appalled, surprised as to how we have forgotten how this thing can be done, how we can humiliate, cripple this Ruto regime. It's quite simple. We can occupy State House. I will tell you how. My good friend, let me recognize some people on the chat. You know the first order of business. Before I go on, the first order of business is to like the video. Like the video if you haven't. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do subscribe. Do not think twice. Simwa, thank you very much. You're fast here. I know you're telling me, let it go, man. It's already over. Ruto is starting to listen now. You're starting to sound like the Sound Carrier TV show. I know with this, Ruto must go. That's why I'm answering you, my friend, good friend Simwa. I do not want to be sounding like the echo chamber socket puppets at Sound Candid TV. With all due disrespect to them, this is not an Azimio platform, and this is not a Kenya Kwanza platform. This is a platform for anyone and everyone. You can give your view whether you're pro-government, pro-Ruto, or against Ruto. I give, as I mentioned before, the thumbnail say Ruto must go because there is a memo that has been passed, and they're telling people that now you can be charged for incitement if you use the phrase Ruto must go. That's why I am defiantly using that expression explicitly so that Ruto and his minions in the security apparatus to know that we are defiant and rebellious, as the name suggests. Kenya Revolutionary, I will not stop saying Ruto must go. But thank you very much, Mr. Simwa, for joining us. Omuganda Katende, thank you very much. I see you today. Cynthia Kipurir, GOK, Villager Kakan, thank you so much for joining, and many others that are watching us through X and YouTube. As a reminder, the first order of business is to like the video and subscribe. Now, speaking of that, I want to show my friend Simwa the reason why I'm saying that, because I think there's evidence of it. I'll show you that memo that I'm talking about. And people seems to it is a scare tactic. It is a scare tactic that they want people not to use, even say or utter that phrase, Ruto must go. We have to remain defiant. Let me go ahead and show the chat real quick. What I mean, because you might be thinking, I'm just pulling things out of my own, Okay, here it is. Let me show you very quickly. Like the video, ladies and gentlemen, like the video. Do not hesitate. Like the video and subscribe as always. And I will bring in panelists, anyone who want to participate and say something. Let's rack up the numbers. Let's wait for people. Once we get to 100 threshold, that's the threshold, I will open the forum for anyone and anybody. You can be anyone. I don't care if Ruto comes in here. We'll give him his 2 minutes to explain to the Kenyan people why he's behaving in such a way and why he hasn't resigned yet. Okay? Let me show my friend what I meant. This is what they're circulating around to try to intimidate. Lucia Siro, karibu sana. Thank you. Yes, Ruto must go. Let me show you. There's so much going on today. There's so much. We have so much to cover. And Gen Zs, if you are around, please make sure you make your way here, because I will have an open forum today. I want to hear from people. Now you can see this. Can you guys see it on your screens? I'm sharing it on the screen. And I have tried to enlarge it. That way you can see what I'm talking about. The phrase Ruto must go is being frowned upon. And we are responding by saying, F you, Ruto, and your security apparatus. We are going to say whatever we want. That is freedom of expression. We have to express ourselves. Here it is Here is the document. Can you see it? Can you see it? Republic of Kenya charge sheet. Someone was caught there. You see the number. Somebody was charged. They're calling it incitement to violence and disobedience of the law, contrary to Section 96 of the Penal Code. Okay. And there they say on the 25th day of June 2024 at Nyahururu Police, whatever the case is, you can see the whatever. You see, can you guys see it? Please let me know in the chat if you can see it. Okay, Nyahururu Police Station, Nyahururu Sub-County within Laikipia County, jointly with others not before court, without lawful excuse, uttered and published words to wit, Ruto must go, in quotes, bold letters, which an act which was prejudicial to public peace, order, and tranquility. So they're arguing that saying Ruto must go is an act of what? Let me read it again. According to them, public. It was prejudicial to public peace, order, and tranquility. So if you say Ruto must go, they are essentially saying that you are disturbing the peace. Unaharibu the tranquility. Na hiyo you are disturbing the peace basically. And and the order in public by just simply screaming Ruto or saying Ruto must go. I mean, what kind of charge is this? Seriously, they want to charge people for saying Ruto must go. That is why my thumbnail today says Ruto must go, because I am defiantly saying so with a lot of emphasis, and I'm stressing to that so Ruto can see it that he has to go. Okay, I want him to see that. I shall bring people in. Once we get to 100 threshold, nitafungua chat. The only rule is you open your camera. If you're in a place where you cannot open it, I will understand. But I would like to hear a feedback from you guys so we can have a discussion, okay? Eric Rakamba is telling us, let me read Rakamba real quick. What is my friend Rakamba saying? Please educate the youths against this man. Where has he taken the 4.6 trillion borrowed from 2022? Why is he dishing TSC employment forms in funerals and sacking JSS interns tribal appointments? That is what he asked. Very good question. Faith Imani say, why is Ruto being so hard-headed? Who is advising them? Or him, sorry. God knows who's advising him. And when Yogega Daniel, karibu sana, he's saying, my is that let all the MPs resign so that we can have a new election. And let the former CJ be the IBC chairman. Good, good, good. Yes, that's a good. I would go with that too. And when you again tell us, I think the former CJ David Maraga should be the new IBC chairperson. Of course, Ruto told us, he promised us, and I'm not going to hold my breath on this. He said in 10 days, which is now 9, I think it's 8 by now, 8 days remaining, he will constitute the new IBC. Some are arguing that we should only constitute a new IEBC after Ruto has left the office. I have an idea, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll get to this. I'll get to the topic. The topic is, how can Gen Z, when I say Gen Z, I'm just using that word to represent the people who are protesting against Ruto. I'm using that. How are the protesters? How can they get to the State House? It has been done before. It has been done before. It can be done. Okay? In Sri Lanka. We forgot. That's why I'm saying I was listening into that session with Gondi. Hillary Gondi was hosting in his page where Miguna was speaking to a lot of people who are there too. And I was waiting for somebody to suggest this, and I couldn't hear anyone come with a suggestion. Even Miguna himself did not come with this suggestion. And Miguna probably forgot that he already did this successfully. And I will touch on it. And that's the way we can actually go to State House and occupy it. Now, I know most of you might be thinking, this whole idea of going to occupy State House is not a good idea. We might be shot, we might be killed, we might do blah, 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 blah. It's dangerous. But let me tell you the significance of this. If we ever succeed to occupy State House, get tuingie kwa bedroom huko, bedroom ya Ruto, literally, na sitting room na kadhalika, na tufanye vile tulifanya huko kwa parliament, that will be the greatest sign of delegitimizing his presidency. In fact, it will be so humiliating that I think he will get into his 200 million private jet and leave the country for good. I'm telling you. Munisikie, I will walk with you step by step how we can do it. And I'm so surprised that Miguna didn't even see it. He forgot. They did it in 2017. He forgot. Karibu sana Gudia. Karibu. Maswatch is saying, Faith Imani, he has always been like that. Kenyans chose to ignore this during the elections. He has forgotten. Miguna forgot. And I will remind him. And I want you to tag Miguna. Anybody who knows Miguna, who's close to Miguna, please tag Miguna. We are in here. Tuko hapa. Hatuchezi. We are not joking. Once we get to 100 people here in YouTube, I shall open up for anyone to get in the studio. I will send the link so you can join me in the studio and we can contribute. Rack it up. Tell your friends to join in. Kesho ni holiday. Kesho ni nini? Kesho ni holiday. Let's get ready. Kesho ni holiday. Let's do this. Tomorrow is a holiday. Faith Imani is saying, let's challenge this government to go on the ballot boxes and let's win by voting for all Gen Zs. We are screaming, change right now, not tomorrow, right now. Yes, we can do that, but the problem is, it is the president who is supposed to constitute the IBC commissioners. He chooses the selection panel, and the selection panel goes ahead and chooses the IBC commissioners. And guess what? Ruto will probably choose someone who he knows anaweza kufanya ile kitu to vote for people who he would like to see stay in power. That's the danger of going the voting route. The only way we can do, or we would like to have the IBC, is when he has resigned already. Then we shall choose the IBC to go ahead. Mary Wilborn, karibu sana. Nice seeing you. It's been a while. He's saying today the Senate members praised the Gen Zs, paraphrasing each and every sentiment, but the theme was amend, not reject. Mdomo ni ule ule, tamu, 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 tamu. Yes, these senators like Cheruiyot are fakers. We should not take them seriously at all, at all, at all. We shouldn't. Nobody, none of them, all of them. We should not take them serious. Villager Khan saying, I don't believe Miguna, bro. That's fine. You don't have to. I think he has walked the walk, and his resume kind of speak for himself. So that's fine. It's your opinion. I respect it. Okay. Mary Wilborn says, so the finance bill is very much alive and will kick us good. Yes, the finance bill as it stands, it's okay. After 2 weeks, it will be law. Of course, Ruto alikuwa anajifanya ati reject. I won't sign it. You know the story, okay? So you know how the trick that he played. He did not. He knew that. He knew that, okay? But he wanted, again, these guys, they count on your what? Ignorance. The population, they hope that you're ignorant enough that you won't find out when he says he's not going to sign that because he doesn't want you to know. I want to play you guys something appalling today. Charlene Ruto gathers a couple of young people and she had a press conference. I don't know what the hell she was talking about, but we shall find out. What was Charlene trying to tell the public? Let's find out what Charlene is up to. I don't know what she was talking about, but let's listen in to what Charlene was trying to tell the people of Kenya. Are you ready? Okay, let's listen to this lady. I don't know what I don't know what's happening. Like the video, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. Like it, share, comment, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Once we get to 100 people, I will open the studio for anybody and everybody to come in and give their view on what's going on. Goodyear is saying, Ruto is not one step down. Right now, the financial bill went through before we opened our eyes. Yes, he's a very slimy individual. Sadi's at karibu, 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 karibu. Let me play you guys Charlene Ruto. I don't know what's up with Charlene Ruto. Let's listen to what she's saying. I just saw that and I felt like, okay, I want to share this with everybody so we can listen. Meanwhile, while we listen to this wonderful, I won't say wonderful speech, but this speech by Charlene Ruto, let's like the video. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. All right, let's just watch what's going on. Hold on.
As one of you, a young Kenyan passionate about our country's future, I hear your voices, I understand your concerns. The challenges we face as a generation are real and pressing. I would like to start my statement by picking up from the second last sentence of my last social media post. It's a statement from our national anthem. May we dwell in unity, peace, and liberty. Unity is what these 47 presidents of county student associations representing 100,000 plus young people from our TVETs, colleges, and universities have demonstrated today by coming together. What is unique about these groups is that they have created systems and structures that combine national and county governments, all the way from having ward reps, constituency reps, cabinet secretaries, and these presidents. They are challenging themselves to understand how leadership and governance works, because in the next few years, they are the next MPs, the next CEOs, the next founders of organizations. Each one of these young people has put behind their own individual ambitions and desires to combat challenges facing their counties, such as quality education, arts, sports, and talent promotion, mentorship, and the like. They are organized and have come together with one accord, in common bond, united. I know this because I have interacted and worked with some of you for the past year or so, and I'm very proud of your achievements thus far. Peace is something that has been far from us in recent days. It is something that we are praying for and leading the front in attaining as young people. This is why we stand against the particular protests that have shown no leadership from young people, but rather a push from dark forces to create chaos in a country that we so love. Looted businesses and many days of operation lost for profit-making organizations and community-oriented companies are so disheartening. One of the ways out of poverty is entrepreneurship and business, something we're encouraging our young people to engage in, and something we have to strongly safeguard. I mean, how else will plenty be found within our borders? Liberty is our expression of freedom. We have freely used our voices and platforms to be a part of current affairs. I say we because I stand before you today, not just as the president's daughter, but as one of you, a young Kenyan passionate about our country's future. I hear your voices, I understand your concerns. The challenges we face as a generation are real and pressing. From unemployment to the rising cost of living, we are all feeling the impact of our current economic situation. I want you to know that your engagement in our nation's affairs is not just welcome, but essential. They all contribute to the vibrant democracy we are building together. At the same time, I urge us all to consider the complexities of governance. Solutions that seem simple often have far-reaching consequences we might not immediately see. This doesn't mean we should stop pushing for change, but that we should approach these issues with nuance and openness to dialogue. As I continue to use my platforms to support all young people, I would like us to engage constructively. Let's criticize when necessary, but also propose solutions. Let's be the generation that's not known not just for its passion, but for its innovation in governance and civic participation. I don't have all the answers, and I won't pretend to. But I'm here to listen, to learn, and to work alongside each of you for a Kenya that reflects our hopes and dreams. Our shared love for Kenya is what will indeed move us forward. There are many ways to engage with young people. This is something I've been doing for over the past 2 years in my own ways and formats, and the government is putting together the multi-sectoral forum to formalize that. But each one of us can engage with young people. The Ministry of Youth, for example, already engages with young people. I throw a question back to you. Why aren't we already acknowledging those who are working with the young people, the various organizations, platforms such as the county associations? They've been working in the back end. Yes. And now is when things are coming to the front, that there are various people who've been pushing for young people. So this is not something new, and it's not a current phenomenon, but it's something that has already been happening. What we are saying as young people is we won't allow anybody to use our name to misalign us and to put us away from the right support that we need. Because for us to flourish as young people, we need support of the private sector, the public sector, the government, and that is why we have to stand behind our current government.
We are the county presidents of the comrades. We, the county president of the comrades, have seen our members being dubbed as faceless, tribeless, and fearless. But they are equally not leaderless, reckless, and structureless. That being said, we have agreed on the following. We have accepted and welcomed the National Dialogue Forum proposed by His Excellency the President. We appreciate our President for taking the issues of the comrades with such genuine gravity and seriousness, and for that reason, we accept dialogue and remain available to engage over long term.
We are privileged to have the opportunity to interact, to interrogate and discuss for the matters of students, education, and foster a cultural interchange between us, between any stakeholder in the education sector, and above all, to create a generation that is educated, and above all, give a public civic education to all the generation.
What we are saying as young people is we won't allow anybody to use our name to misalign us and to put us away from the right support that we need. Because for us to flourish as young people, we need support of the private sector, the public sector, the government, and that is why we have to stand behind our current government.
Hey. Yeah? Did you hear what I had? My first question, and somebody asked it. Thank you. Emma just answered my question. First of all, Charlene Ruto, you are speaking there, giving a public statement. As who? What is your title besides being the president's daughter? Who are you? Can someone answer that for me? Help me. Gen Zs, the Ninio is open. Ndio hiyo nimefungua. Mkitaka kuingia kwa studio, there is the link. Somebody please help me understand, why is Charlene Ruto telling us, lecturing us on how the way forward? Who is she? Who is she speaking for? Who is she addressing? Munieleze. Ken, karibu sana. What is going on? What is going on? Are those the Gen Z? Did you appoint Charlene Ruto to speak for you? Link ndio hiyo katika chat. Ukitaka kuingia, get in. Explain to us what's going on. Kesho maandamano kama kawa, as scheduled, on time. Link ndio hiyo on the chat. If you want to get in, do not hesitate. Do not hesitate. By the way, take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Do it so quickly, and your notification should be on. I'm going to introduce a way where you can be a member of this channel. You can be a member of this channel. I will introduce it tomorrow. But for now, subscribe first in order to get that privilege. Okay? Like the video. Who appointed Charlene Ruto? Can somebody, Gen Z, ingieni hapa. Even if you're not Gen Z, millennials, ingieni mnieleze. Who is Can somebody tell me? Who told her to come? She told us, hey, ametuambia, the only way to ninio is through entrepreneurship. Now, is Ruto, his father, is he creating a conducive environment for business to thrive? What is Kenya producing? How is your production level? Even if you are an agro economy, we get that. Russia ilitutumia fertilizer. That fertilizer was lost en route. Lituri started selling us donkey shit na mchanga. Huh? I'm joined by Kialo. Kialo, is Charlene representing you? Unmute and you can go on. Ladies and gentlemen, join the studio. Link ndio hiyo. Kialo, wacha ni kuunmute. I can't hear you yet. Let me see. Can't unmute your guest because they chose to be. Kialo, you can unmute. Unmute and go ahead and toa maoni yako. Karibu sana. Rose Miniu, karibu. Tom Guchagu. Gathagu, sorry. Charles Kamanda, karibu. There's the link. Get in. Is Charlene Ruto speaking on your behalf? Sijui, what is this? Sijui sectorial, sijui nini. Hii kizungu mingi, wanataka kuleta Ruto wants to meet them. Meet with these people to talk. Who are they speaking to? Kialo, go ahead. I can't hear you.
Yes,
Yeah,
I really like your question from my heart. I think that question should be addressed because for me, I always ask myself, who is Charlene Ruto? Being a daughter of the president does not mean anything to Gen Zs. But I wanted also to tell the media also that today there was something which was not very much organized. And I think that there is a need of urgent action about these wounds who interrupted everyone. Back to your question, Charlene Ruto, for me, she should not even mention anything in the group. I felt that she has been sent by someone even to hear the views of these guys online. What are they saying and who are they talking? Because there is no one in this group. I think that is enough. If someone is around, can also get some points. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mohamed Abdika, your device is not connected, so unaweza kulog off alafu login tena, ujaribu tena, maana naona device yako haijaninio. Now, Kialo, nilikuwa nataka kuuliza swali. You said something very important, that there's something that you felt today. Can you expound on what you're trying to say, that you felt that kulikuwa na kitu? What exactly did you sense?
I was trying to say that there is a lot of misconception here and there on who joined the group today when we were demonstrating and how did they appear. And in Mombasa here, I'm around in Mombasa here, there was a lot of chaos. And you could notice that these chaos are not from our group, which we started on last week. There was some elements, and this one I have been tempted to try to link this Charlene Ruto inside such kind of things. I don't know why the temptations are coming back. Maybe someone can prove me wrong. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Steve-O, mambo namna gani? How are you doing? Unmute your mic. Steve-O, are you there? Steve-O? Endelea. You're unmuted, endelea. Steve-O, I can't hear you. I'm a drop. All right, let's bring in Jay. Jay, what's going on? Karibu sana.
Sana. The funny thing is, Charlene herself was born in, I think, 93, so she's 31, not actually part of Gen Z, which, no one's talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's not a Gen Z, and here she is. She picked up a couple of young-looking folks, and she's lecturing the nation. I don't know who was her target audience. Was it Gen Z or just the nation as a whole? And she was speaking as who exactly? Okay, we get that she's biologically the daughter of the president, but besides that, what's her qualifications?
When people get money, they become delusional. That's the thing. So she'll have been quiet. It costs her nothing to be quiet at this point.
Yeah. And there's this challenge that Kialo also mentioned. Gen Z are trying to see a way of dealing with the criminal elements within this protest. We can all agree, whether you are the government or you are the part of Gen Z or the people who are protesting, that it has been marred by these folks that pretend to be part of the protesters. Then they go on loot. Kialo, I believe, is in Mombasa. And he has told us, we saw that in the TV, where they were burning things down and all sort of madness. How do we go about it? How do we protest without, the danger? How do we deal with these criminal elements that are touching properties and robbing people and doing all sorts of craziness?
I mean, it's hard to say we, because the movement just has so much infighting at the moment. So I think, getting unified first before tackling the external threats will be the way to go.
Okay, thank you. Stay tuned. Kaa hapo. Naona Jay, if you're the last Jay from the last time, naona kichwa yako imekuwa ngumu, hata wewe siku hizi kamera umewacha. But it's okay.
Uko kwa kitanda, Buda. Uko kwa kitanda.
Uko kwa okay, nitakuachia, nitakupatia. Leo umepata pass. Next time. Sawa basi. Nish. Oh, Nish is back. Finally. Yes. Nish, one of my favorites here. Please tell us. Did you send Ruth Charlene email telling her that she's the official leader of Gen Z? What's going on?
I saw in the comments here, someone said Ruto thinks he's become the king. And I think Charlene is acting like a princess. Because ukiangalia these monarchies, usually the royal family, they have such roles za kuenda, like, to do charity or to go and represent and give this kind of motivational speeches, things like that. So I think it's gone to her head and she thinks she's the princess of the nation. So now she's coming to save the day and address the royal subjects. So I think that's
Yes.
what's happening.
To me, I was listening to this and I was like Jay just mentioned. First of all, she's not a Gen Z, and besides being the daughter of the president who's not even popular. I mean, what makes you think you can just have a press conference and address people? And who are you addressing, by the way? I don't even know her target audience. What is now? There's one thing today. Let me bring this to you guys. I tried to join the live with Miguna, and the discussion was about how to deal with these the criminal element on this protest. And the general consensus that I got from Miguna and most of the speakers is there's safety in numbers. That's the only way we can beat them. But I was surprised that there was no concrete idea behind how they can have a successful protest inside the CBD, whether it's occupying parliament. To me, personally, I would advocate occupying state house, because I think that will be the ultimate humiliation to Ruto. Now, before I give my view on it, because I'm mostly interested in everybody's view, and I'll start with you, Nish, then I'll go to Kialo, then Jay. What's the best way you see this thing? Have you come up with anything that you think you can do to maybe mkutane hapo have a successful protest like the one on the 25th without having these criminal elements? Of course, that will always be there. But let's say we want to occupy parliament again. Will that be possible ever again? Ama Ruto amesha infiltrate this thing to a point where we can't have a successful protest?
It's really hard to tell. I think, as you said, like having huge numbers is really the best tactic, but the way things are going, people are getting more and more, I don't know, maybe scared or just dissuaded by the idea of going back to the streets. So I saw some people who proposed a few ideas which I thought were interesting. Like, for example, everyone like dressed the same way and just sitting down and not moving. That way, it would be really easy to pinpoint who are the bad elements in the group. Things like doing citizens arrests, things like that. Another idea that came out was some people being kind of like watchmen during the protest. So kuna watu like, I think this was maybe not today, maybe yesterday, someone said anajitolea to just be there kind of like as a watchman to make sure that the other protesters are safe. So I think I'm assuming things will be different on the ground, and maybe people will adapt to how things go. But for the ones who will be there, it's clear that there's no giving up, and they'll try to find a solution. And I can only encourage them, because this thing it's not easy.
Yes,
but
yes.
Giving up is not the answer, because it's really clear what the government is trying to do. So backing down is just like, it would be an easy win for them. So yeah.
Absolutely. Now, before I bring in Captain Kialo, unaonaje, how do we deal with this? Hawa wajambazi wameingia, they're infiltrating. How do we deal with that? And how do we occupy the parliament again or the state house?
Thank you very much. Three things. I will be very short because like also views of some people. Three things I think. The way Mombasa is structured is not the same with Nairobi and I guess other towns like Nakuru and elsewhere. One thing which I may propose, the demonstration which are coming, let the agencies occupy only the main roads where there is nothing to destroy. For example, like in Nairobi, they can use the Waiyaki Highway only, especially parts where there are no open shops and something like that. Because something which will be good for us is that if these guys, they see the crowd, which is big enough, I'm very sure even if they are not doing anything, the one who is saying we sit, I agree with the person. If we are not doing anything, that kind of mobilization is moving the guys with a very alarming right. Number two, the other thing which I think, we are the medicine of ourselves. The person who brought the guns, because they are these politicians, is trying to counteract the Gen Z using the other bad elements. So we are also the security of the things of other people. I was very happy today in Mombasa. I saw a man who tried to take a phone of someone. He was beaten there. He was beaten there. He was beaten by other people, because you can easily see the person. This person is not doing the correct thing. We reached somewhere. The man came out with a pistol. He was shooting. Gen Zs were very far away from there. They were only goons who were trying to exchange with this man. And I felt that today it was well organized, that we are told, go and destroy whatever you see so that we can put blame on them. The third thing, the very last thing, I come from a family, the other person come from a family. Some of us, our brothers are soldiers. Someone has said somewhere in another platform, we are, when we talk with our brothers, they have view, they are soldiers, they have view about the government. Honestly speaking, they can give us a point, and the point they give us, we can still mobilize some. When we do that one, we see some soldiers in our group, then that one is a step. I strongly believe someone may say something.
Okay, thank you. Captain, go ahead and I'll give a suggestion of how we can do it, because I have an idea and it has worked before. Captain, karibu. Hata wewe pia unaona umekuwa kichwa ngumu, lakini endelea.
Kichwa ngumu aje?
Haya, naona umeka. Ai, sasa unajua nikiona hiyo kipara yako hata nasikia kama revolution is taking place. Endelea.
What are we discussing? You know, I've been out for long.
Okay.
I'm just joining.
The discussion is this. This Gen Z, we are looking at a way where we can have a protest, a peaceful one, where we can protect ourselves to make sure that our protests are peaceful. How can we make sure that people are not getting robbed, watu hawaharibu biashara za wenyewe, wale watu wanachoma magari and such like things? Do you have an idea of how we can go about that? And do you feel that we can have a successful demonstration like the one we had on the 25th Tuesday? Or Ruto ameshafanya vitu mpaka amesha infiltrate to a point where we might not succeed? Because kesho ni maandamano. So maoni yako namna gani?
You know what, Kenya Rebel, there is something I don't understand, because you are asking me, so you're asking other panelists, how can Gen Zs occupy State House? But now you are telling me that how can Gen Zs identify themselves? You are giving me different questions than the one you are giving other panelists. Anyway,
you're free to answer it. No, you're free to answer even the other one that I've asked. Answer any one that you think. Hata kama ulifikiri niliuliza mtu mwingine different, you can take upon that and go with it. It's an open forum. Go ahead.
The identification of Gen Zs to identify themselves, because the goons now are taking over. And, these goons, even they are not new people. They are not new goons. We know them. They've been losing elections since 1997. Now they are coming here to
Captain, is it who I think you are referring to?
Who?
Raila Odinga.
Why are you laughing? You first of all. Why are you laughing when I say they've been losing elections since 1997?
Because Raila was the one person that started running for presidency in 1997. So are you referring to him? To be clear.
Unajua Wagorina wanajitambua kwa vilemba, lakini mimi sijasema mtu.
Okay, endelea.
I didn't say anybody. But
okay.
If you know yourself, I remember when I was in class 5 or class 6, there is an English book which was saying fools carry themselves.
Okay.
That is where now you are taking us back there. Fools carry themselves. I don't know. But the people who have been losing elections since, not even 2007, 1997, until now, are the ones taking over the city center, robbing our people, robbing the businesses of Kenyans in the name of Gen Zs. Those are not Gen Zs. Gen Zs if like tomorrow you have said that they'll be having maandamano tomorrow. Prior to maandamano, like today tonight, they should have a meeting somewhere. They supply the materials that this one defines Gen Z. If it is having a white T-shirt and a black trouser, if it is having like a bendera ya Kenya, this waves ile ya kuwave hiyo bendera hiyo, to show that they are peaceful and with a white handkerchief. You understand?
Yeah.
But these guys from these goons who lose the election life for life in the entire life, they cannot even put on a white T-shirt, because the white T-shirt they put on in the next 1 hour, because of the dirty in their body, it will be black. You understand?
Okay.
So that is what I can tell Gen Zs. Identify yourselves in a way that the government can know these are Gen Zs, these are goons, and we will avoid these shooting things and all whatever. This guy who was in Mombasa was protecting his own business because the goons were attacking the business.
Yeah, the one that was shooting people, somebody. I saw that.
I think that guy knew these are not Gen Zs. You understand? Those were not Gen Zs, those were goons. That they are taking over the government. When people are demonstrating, they wanawaja kupora wa mama na watu huko kijijini, wanakuja city center hasa kuingilia Gen Zs, wanapora watu masimu, wanaingia kwa maduka nini na hiyo kila kitu hiyo. Unaona?
Okay.
I don't know, because no, Captain, you are putting yourself.
When NIS, mtu amesema when NIS.
No, who told that? Who is telling him that one? Who is telling him that?
I don't know.
And you know what, Kenyans are very good in speculating things. Especially when he died. Na nilikuwa nimeona tu, hata vile alikuwa anaongea, niliona huyu anaenda kukufa.
Nani?
Sijui alisema nitazikwa namna hii. Yaani uka Kenya wako na speculations zingine mzuri sana, kulingana na vile mtu atakufa. Sasa hii mwingine wanatuambia sijui ninaweza kusema nini?
Okay.
Now, Kenya Rebel, the goons, these are the same goons we are talking about that they are saying I'm NIS. They know how we are trying to define them, that we don't want to tell the real Gen Zs how they should dress properly for the government to identify them. You see, that is why now they are coming here to brand us with new names like NISG, what. You see?
Reaching gear. Watch. Okay, let me bring in Nani. The other panelists just got in. Sadi boy, maoni yako vipi? Karibu.
Waradani gani?
What's that?
Unanisikia?
Nakusikia. Karibu. Maoni yako namna gani?
Dada safi, Mika Gen Z. Inafaa process bana iko tu peaceful. Kama ni wale wasio wanavaa white rada safi, jumi lazima niingie tao kila siku, unaona? So like nikiingia tao bana, wasiwasi ni mingi, so like hiyo lazima bado naishikilia, lazima tufanye vile nafaa, unaona, kitu kama hiyo. Lakini shughuli lazima iendelee,
Okay. Okay, shikilia hapo. All right, nataka kuuliza hivi nyote. This is a suggestion, and not a suggestion, but it has been done before. By the way, Mohammed Abdika, connect your device yako iko connected, so I don't know if you need to log out then log in again. For anyone who wants to go get in, ndio link, and please like the video to circulate Ruto aione na Shalin pia aione. Anyway, this is what I was saying. In 2017, this is what happened. Kulikuwa na maandamano kila pahali in all provinces. Let me just use all the provinces. But this is what I was thinking. On the day that Ruto was sworn in, I think it was somewhere in August, somewhere, I don't know. Why can't the Gen Zs, and please tag me when I this, waeke date kama ile vile walikuwa nataka kuswear in Raila. Remember what happened? They say they're going to Uhuru Park to swear in Raila Odinga. Uhuru knew about what was going to go on. He started threatening people. Sijui anawaambia alijaribu kutuma Mungiki. Then they tried to get some people to go there in that Uhuru Park, whatever. But people came from every part of Kenya and converged into Uhuru Park. Okay? There were millions and thousands, if not millions. There were so many. Wale mapolisi walitumwa huko to stop people, they could not stop them. They give up. Hiyo tear gas walitupa hivyo, wakaona there's so many people, they can't stop them, and they had to let them go to Uhuru Park, and the swearing in took place. In fact, according to Miguna, the next step was to go to State House, but they were waiting for Raila to say so. But of course, Raila kumbe alikuwa ashapigiwa simu na Uhuru. So why can't we adopt the same thing? Yes, the maandamano ifanyike in every part of the country, but wale politicians ambao wanasema ati they are against this Ruto regime and they want him out, why can't you sponsor people, buses, watu waende wakutane Nairobi CBD and march to State House? Because if you have like a bunch of people, let's say 1 million or 2 or 3 or 6 million or 10 million, there's no way in the world. We saw the military is with the people. So it will be the police who are trying to tear gas. You can't tear gas 6 million people and be successful. We saw that on the 25th. Why can't we apply that? I'll start with you, Jay and Nish, and let me get your take on that. Is it a crazy idea? I'm willing to be called crazy.
I think the situation in 2017 and now, and the situation on the 25th and now, they're completely different. And the
How so?
Well, okay, in 2017, it was more or less all the planning was being done behind closed doors in Orange House. And
can you say that one more time? You're kind of...
in 2017, all the plans were being made in Orange House behind closed doors between Raila, Orengo, who knows who. But the biggest strength and at the same time the biggest weakness for this movement is how open it is online. So if you say pick everyone who has white, you're saying that on a Twitter space where anyone can join, you make an account in 2 minutes, then just tell them you're going to a white study. So they need to figure out a way to be more secure. I think that's a main thing, because security is the main thing at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Nish, do you think I'm crazy for just suggesting that? And do you agree with Jay that the situation is different? We're not as passionate. Hatuna umoja of purpose. What do you think?
I think, well, I would probably need a clarification. So when you say we go and meet at Uhuru Park, because at that time you said they were going to like kind of proclaim him the president. So what will we be doing? What will we be proclaiming? Because we need something to rally behind.
Right. Okay. So the goal is to go occupy State House like it was before. Okay. Now, okay, of course, we shall expect resistance, Ataika Majeshi and all that stuff. But the difference is that this time we shall have more numbers that we did last time, because we'll be shipping people from all parts of the country. These politicians that claim to be supporting us, I remember Joho was, I don't know if you guys remember, people like Joho were walikuwa napatiana mabasi, Coast Bus, people were getting in free when I was being shipped to Nairobi. Kisumu, there were some buses that were ferrying people for free to Nairobi. So there were so many people in Nairobi where they could not even stop anyone. And the thing will be, the goal is occupy State House. So we go stand in Belia State House, we want to occupy it, and let's see if they are actually going to gun us down. Maybe that's a crazy idea, but I don't know.
I think that idea would have worked last Thursday. I think that's probably what was going to happen last Thursday before people started saying State House is a protected area and half the people got scared. About the politicians, I don't believe they would do that, because even the ones who claim to be on our side, I feel like doing that, they would realize that, wait, if these people actually succeed, it means we're also gone. Because the Gen Zs don't want to get rid of half of the government. They want to get rid of all of them. So including the so-called opposition who would be quote unquote supporting us. So I don't think they would actually do that. Like, I think right now they're just saying they're on our side, you know, they're doing things to look like they're on our side, but doing something as drastic as sponsoring the movement like that, I really don't think they would do that, because it would be against their own interests. And also, I don't think the Gen Zs would accept that kind of help, because we don't trust them. Like, we know they're all the same, and it would just be them seizing the opportunity. But we know, like, they're not less corrupt, you know? So I don't think counting on them would be the solution. But yeah, if we could get, like, if we could rally everyone together and do that on our own, I think that would be good. I think that, like, that was really going to happen last week. And then, well, yeah, so we probably have to wait for more scandals to come up so that people's anger can get to that point again, to the point where it's like, okay, you know what, screw it, let's go to State House. So let them keep doing press conferences. Let Charlene keep talking. Let like all these people, Ruto keep talking, and the MPs keep getting money. Like, the more we get these scandals, the more the anger just keeps boiling. And I think it will get to the point where people start forgetting the words protected area.
Okay. I'll get you, Captain, before I bring you in. Yeah. I think the reason why Thursday didn't work out is because, okay, you're right. Number one, Ruto, Vile aliona, this thing is real. He saw what happened in the parliament, so he kind of took the neo. Karibu, Ani! Karibu. So he was like, all right, I'm going to get the military. So watu wakaanza kuogopa. Alafu the influencers were like, oh, this is not a good idea. So you need the ones that were compromised. So that kind of played into it. So, like you said, now if we set a date, they say August 27th or whatever the case is, say everyone from every part of Kenya, if you can make it to Nairobi on that date, we will be marching to the State House. You know, it will send Ruto into a panic mode, because he will start trying to figure out who is traveling to Nairobi, why, and all this stuff, whatever. But that does not mean that the Maandamano on that 27th will not stop in every part of Kenya. But if you can make it to Nairobi, let's make it to Nairobi. Let's meet as many people as we can and march to State House. I think it will be a huge challenge to it, because now the military will be faced with this question: what do we do? And the police obviously will be overwhelmed. Okay, because if Ruto shift them from let police kutoka Eldoret ama wapi aweleke Nairobi, Eldoret will have no security. So na maandamano inaendelea huko. So I think that's something that can happen, but ni maoni yangu tu. Kip, hebu nieleze, kwani unaona hiyo mpango namna gani? Ama mimi niko na I'm crazy. Captain.
Unajua nikiongea hapa watu wengine wanaona ni kama niko kazi, lakini that's not the case anyway.
No, Captain. But, be open na useme maoni yako. Wacha kuogopa. Don't worry about the comment section. Hata ukisema nini, this is an open section to anyone. Hapa usijali hata ukitukanwa.
Why should you air on the screen such idiotic comments like those ones? For those people who think they themselves they are doing the wrong thing, but in reality Gen Zs are doing the right thing. Why are you airing on this screen?
No, because I want to get your take on what they think. It's an interactive discussion. So come on.
Let me say this.
Okay.
For Gen Zs, that the way you started this thing, it was the best. But now it has been taken over by goons that I think they are outsmarting you in a way that they are looting people's property, and they are very stronger than you when it comes to moving forward. That's why you are not seen in front, but the goons are seen in front. When you are passing by there, the goons have already passed by there, and they have caused a lot of damages there. And the police will no longer want to see you around there. So what is what we have to do now is you revisit how you are can I let me come? I'm coming back later. That's all.
Okay, so okay. Oh my goodness. Look who's coming in here. Jex. I'll stop hosting. Jex, you might as well take over the show. Karibu, karibu.
Hell no.
Siku mingi, my brother.
I'm only here to pay a debt.
What's that?
You
look who's coming in here, Jax. I will stop hosting. Somebody's echoing my words.
No, it's my end. I'm working on it. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
Just one moment. Allow me to do something here.
You want me to give you a few minutes?
No, just one moment. Just a second.
Funga redio na kila kitu.
Yeah. All right. And now, am I good now?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Hello.
Jax, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can now hear you. I couldn't hear you before, but now I can. Habari ya huku sijakuja bado, nimesema nikuje at least nichokoze Kenya Rebel. Juu nilete zile shida wananiletea.
Sorry guys, for those who don't know, we used to be in Mutembei, so go ahead.
Sijui nifanye ile kitu, nirushe mawe nitoke mbio.
Unaweza fanya hapo.
Ukaje kaka. Good to see you.
Nice seeing you too.
Captain as well. Good to see you, Jay and Nish and many watching. Naona unafanya kazi fine, kazi fiti. Naona unang'ang'ana kureject finance bill ambayo ilianguka, but ni fine, tunashukuru. Sasa naona unasema Ruto must go. Okay, sawa. We're saying to occupy State House. Tutajaribu, but otherwise, I don't know. Tell me, what do you think? Are we able to occupy it in the first place?
Yes, and that's what I gave a suggestion here, and I want you I want to get your take. I think you are not Gen Z, just like me. You are tulienda shule moja ile ya Gombaru. But if you remember 2017, I was giving this. Unakumbuka how people did it? Because kumbuka Uhuru was trying to deny people access from Uhuru Park. So what the was it ODM at that time or whatever it was that time? They started shipping people from all across the nation kukuja Nairobi CBD, okay? And there were so many people that they overwhelmed the police forces. Walianza na tear gas asubuhi wakashindwa, then they finally gave up and people just walked to Uhuru Park and waliapisha Raila Odinga. Okay, so what I'm saying is this: we don't stop maandamano across the country. We continue the maandamano across the country, but we can organize ourselves, or just kama zile flyer schedule. We say, let's meet up on the 27th of August. If you can make it to Nairobi CBD, please come through. Our politician alafu wanapiga makelele hapa nasema ati we support Gen Z. Okay, how about you finance that? You help us. If you don't want to, ni sawa tu. We don't have to depend on them, because like Nish told us here, some of them might feel threatened by that because they'll also go. But tunasema tukutane 25th, twendeni State House. If you can make it from all across the nation, if you can make it to Nairobi CBD, come through. We give you a month in advance. Tukutaneni huko hiyo siku. Then, once we have, let's say, 2 million people, I'm telling you, the police will be overwhelmed, and I doubt the military will lift a hand against the Gen Zs. What do you think?
I think I totally have a different opinion. This is what I think I'm now thinking. When it was about rejecting the finance bill, there was a goal, there was a clear intention, what we wanted, how we wanted it to be done. And now that the finance bill is over, you could see there was kind of a reduction in the outcome in terms of how people are coming out, how people are participating. The first Tuesday and the second, it had quite a superb turnout compared to the last couple of mandamanos we have had, to the level that we have had goons and guys taking advantage of what was beautiful, and now they're tarnishing it. So from where I sit, I tend to think, I think we ought to know when to leave the stage. And I'm not saying we should relent, neither am I saying we should stop, but I think we should re strategize, make it more effective, just like how we rejected the finance bill and it was effective. I think we should pick a matter, push it, and have an outcome that can be counted upon, including Ruto must go. Because it's one thing to shout it, it's another thing to have an outcome, like how the president ceded to the finance bill. Now, it's almost obvious it's not just a word and Ruto will be out. No. We need to ask ourselves what must happen, right? What must happen for that to be achieved? Because the only option that he can be out is either by resignation. We know that needs to come from him. So what can Mwananchi do? Us shouting the whole day Ruto must go, he might probably not go. Yeah. So we need to look at how, and I think that's what many are trying to look at. How can he go? Because it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to achieve it. Those are two different ball games. And from where I sit, I tend to think marching alone might not achieve it. All right. Marching alone achieved conceding of finance bill, but removing anyone from power, that alone takes more than marching. It takes more. Look at any other country, from Sri Lanka to any other country. It didn't just take a march, it took more than it. It took more. So the question now becomes, is are Kenyans willing to go the whole hog? Like, are they able to go to the very end? Because it won't be business as usual. It won't be merrymaking. Uh, People must be willing. People must be ready to do it. And people must want it. Unfortunately, I saw some instances where some counties that participated in rejecting the finance bill, today they were there supporting the president or even erecting the wheelbarrows. I don't know if you saw that clip.
In
So
Kericho. I mean, but
yeah, yeah.
Kericho is a stronghold.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is we ought to not um, count on that chip that people will turn out. There has to be a unifying factor, just like the finance bill unified across counties, across political divide. This should be a call from everyone. All right. That's what I'm saying. We might shout Ruto must go. Kuna wale washaanza kuimba Ruto tano tena. Unanielewa?
Ulisikia hiyo wapi? Ulisikia wapi?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I even saw someone make a joke. He wanted to throw a stone, but there was like a spirit telling him, Ruto tano tena. Unani understand? So it's a it's an interesting turn of events. There are those who already have bought into the statements issued by the government already. Kuna wale wana feel it's time for dialogue. Even those who are very vocal against the finance bill, kuna wale washaanza kusema no, let's now not protest, let's sit down and talk. So Ruto must go might not really be the strategy right now. I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just simply saying probably it might not attract the traction that finance bill did. And if it has to work, we have to be strategic. We have to be intentional. We must be willing to go the whole hog. There is a difference between rejecting the finance bill successively and pushing Ruto out of power successively. Those are two different ball games, requiring different kinds of specs of people.
Okay.
To the level that I think we lack in several things, because it almost calls like a rebellious form of spirit, like are ready to die, are ready to do anything. It needs leadership. You can't have such without someone pushing it. Like you see, any country that has successfully removed their president, someone took over. There was someone ready. Either the military was ready, the likes of Museveni, they were there pushing it. Someone was there. There was someone pushing it. People were paying allegiance to that person. Go to any country that have successfully, from Cameroon to Burkina Faso and to any other country that has succeeded, there has to be someone. All right. So Gen Zs cannot sit and say they don't have that has to happen for it to succeed. That has to happen. And I'm not sure we have leaders who are ready to take that bull by the horns. Some of our leaders are cowards. With 3 millions, they will change their allegiance. So it's interesting. And from where I sit, that's my opinion. I don't think Ruto will be going somewhere. So what we should now do, we should push for agendas that can be achieved, like push for IBC, recall some of our MPs that cannot be achieved, recall them, push for some of these CSS to be sacked, ask for accountability, fight those police who pick bribed on the road. Those are like unaenda na bango hapo kwa polisi, unasimama the whole day. Kama atasimama the whole day, atasikia aibu. All right. I'm looking forward to see protesters standing next to traffic police. Each time matatu inapita, kuna mtu na bango ako tayari ku capture that moment. So we can rise to the occasion. We can re-strategize. We can come up with better ideas, better ways, and we might not win all the wars or all the fights, but we can win small ones and have many of them. So far, so good. Today, I saw a very big function that politicians were denied their opportunity to speak. That's a win.
Where was it? Where was that?
During the burial of
Jimmy Wanjigi.
Yeah, even Jimmy. Okay, for Jimmy Wanjigi, they allowed, but of course limited. But for the Rigathi, they were only asked to sing a song. So they only turned to be choir members, but not the usual politics that happens in funerals and in churches. We equally saw it when the president was in other places for the functions, including some of the Harambes. They have now been banned. So we can achieve small victories that eventually will surmount to something quite big. So from where I sit, we might not remove the president from power, but we can as well speak true to power. We can as well make these leaders accountable. Someone was saying we are not now hearing sirens on the roads. Hakuna hizo vitimbi zilikuwa kwa barabara ati kwa sababu mkubwa so and so anapita. Ka discipline tu kameanza tu kujileta. For the first time we are having everyone saying, hey, mimi sitaki kuongezwa mshahara. They were always fighting kuongezwa mshahara. Now they are afraid. So to me, those are wins, and we can accept all kinds of wins because eventually they make our country better. So from where I sit, I think I would want a better country, a better leadership, better governance, because if the president can bring out the best from him and sack some of these corrupt politicians, corrupt CSs, reduce some of these offices, because for the first time our president says, hata doza bibi yangu hata mimi sizitaki. To me that was a win. The office of the first lady ikitolewa do, to me that's a win. So to me, I'm saying we can get more wins. Okay.
Jakes, wacha nikuulize.
The grand prize is removing him from power.
Right.
But even these other small caps are still victories. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Jakes, I was going to challenge your points, but I want Jay and Nish and Captain to get in too. The first one was when you said there was we should rally around the issue. And I think Nish was also saying that too. And I said the issue was already clear. You are right that the first issue was to the finance bill, reject it. Then it can change into Ruto must go. Now already people, from what I see, kwa club watu ikifika saa 6 usiku wanaanza kusema Ruto must go, Ruto must go. So there's already that feeling that, okay, you know what? Because you said a win, like to you, a win is an incremental concession that Ruto is making. But he's really not making concession, because if you think about it, hiyo finance bill alisema hata sign, but in 2 weeks it will become law. So align to enjoy.
No.
Yeah.
No, it won't. There's a lot that has happened. Even
Okay, Jex.
A lot that happened.
Ngoja kidogo. Usikimbie, usirushe mawe na ukimbie. Leta nilete Jay hapa. Usikimbie. Niko na wewe. Jay the niche. Alafu naona captain pia anataka kusema kitu. Jay, let's go. What do you think?
Jake's made a really valid point, because if you take a step back and look at all that's been achieved it feels like a long time, but then just 2 weeks. Like relatively a lot has been achieved, but then even if Ruto goes, you have Gachagua next, then what happens from there? Which is another mountain to climb.
I think the idea is not to remove only Ruto. It's Ruto, Gachagua, and the rest of the whole cabinet, the whole executive branch.
Of course, that can't happen. You know, as long as we are using our constitution, because as I said, it has, for it to have a different trajectory, unless we act outside the constitution. Like
no, it's constitutional, Jakes. It's constitutional.
The constitution has no vacuum or lacuna. If Ruto is not in, Gachagua is in. If Gachagua is not in, Wetangula is in. If really,
but then Wetangula only has 60 days to call an election. That's
and Wetangula has days, I think 60 days thereabout. But even then, we still need to talk about IEBC, which is absent at the moment. So it is not just saying he must go and he goes. No, a lot will be in focus. And from where I sit, and this is me, not Gen Z or anyone, from where I sit, it's one thing to say he goes, it's another thing to leave to see that happening.
Okay.
That's difficult.
Jakes, now unaweka moto. I like this. Unaweka moto. All right. Jay, were you still giving a submission?
Yeah, no, that was the main thing. Just
you agree with
Ruto and Gachagua. That's the main thing. But like I said, a lot has been achieved in 2 weeks. I know we're getting impatient trying to recapture the magic from 25th, but then just I think reorganization is the main thing at this point. Yeah.
So you feel the fire is dying?
A bit.
Okay.
A bit, yeah.
All right. Nish, help me charaza this Jakes guy. He's getting on my nerves.
I'll try. No, but I mean, obviously he made some good points, and I respect that. But as you know me, I'm very strong in my opinions as well. But so the first thing I'll say is that everything he said sounds nice in theory, but that would work if Ruto was someone you could trust, like, to keep his word. If he wasn't someone who's always double speaking, then you could say, let's go this, let's take it slow, let's do this and this and this. Yeah, maybe let him fire this person, let him reconstitute the IBC. If he was someone like you could actually trust to do what he says. But this is the kind of person who has people abducted, people killed. The whole country has seen it. No, the whole world has seen it. And he will come on national TV and say, I have no blood on my hands, without blinking twice. Like, we're not dealing with a normal person. So, like, all these conventional methods, diplomatic methods, they won't work, because he's just playing a role. He's just acting. But and also, he said that it's one thing to reject the finance bill, but to occupy State House and to get him out is another thing. I think we're maybe underestimating the power of having the crowds in the streets, because if we were not powerful, he would not have panicked the way he did. The way he reacted after the parliament thing, it's like, it sent shivers down his spine, to the point of, going and getting the military, getting all these tactics, all these goons, everything. Like, he's mobilizing every single tactic in the book that he can find, because he knows how powerful we are. So I think we're the ones who are underestimating ourselves, or maybe he's kind of like sold us the lie that, you know, it's cute that you're marching, but it won't amount to anything. No, he knows it's powerful. Otherwise, he wouldn't be going through so much trouble to go as far as to send his daughter to give a bogus press conference. Like he's literally pulling every string he can pull because he knows how powerful we are. So I think we should not forget that. Yeah, small wins are good. Yes. Okay. About the finance bill, I will not believe it until I see it. You know. So maybe after that goes, we'll find out if that's really over or not. And I think the other point he made was about the Gen Zs needing a leader. I don't think we need a leader. I think having a common enemy is enough. The reason why the reject finance bill worked is because everyone was united against this common enemy, which was the finance bill. The reason why the people right now are more reluctant to go to State House is because some people are not convinced that Ruto is the common enemy we have to defeat. Some people are like, okay, this is maybe this is too much. Maybe let's wait and see. Let's dialogue. You know, like they're like, it's because it's scary when you think, okay, now we're really going after the president himself. This is scary. It's one thing to go after the parliament and the members of parliament, but it's another thing to go after the president himself. So I think in our minds we're still like, okay, this is like, this is the top guy. Like you don't just go to you can go to parliament, but you don't just go to State House, you know. So maybe in our minds he's still this big person. So we haven't gotten to the point where we're angry enough to lose the respect to the point of saying, you know what, I'm going to march to State House. And I think last week we were almost there. Like people are convinced, and then like someone came back and reminded us, you know, parliament and State House is not the same thing. State House is protected, you know. So that like kind of brought back the sanctity of the presidency to the point where people got scared. So I think maybe that's why I'm saying for now we keep applying the pressure, protest, and whether it's protest on the streets or the Occupy churches thing, or everything you're saying about, like, you know, now they are behaving properly because they're so scared. Yeah, we keep with the pressure, and we keep exposing them. Like every little lie, every time they go on TV to say some lie, you go on Twitter and it's already been debunked. Like I think that's really beautiful, and so we should keep exposing them, keep doing that. And I think hopefully at some point we'll get to the point where we're angry enough to not care that he's the president, and that we decide, you know what, I'm going to State House. But yeah, I think so everything else, like reconstituting IBC, all these things, they can't be done while he's there, because he's part of it. Like he's still, his hands will still be on that. He will control the process, he will rig the process. Like we can't trust it while he's there. And just, I don't want to take up too much time, I'll just finish with saying, you know, saying we're going to cut these small wins, like we're going to start with the CS, we're going to start with this and that. It's like saying we're going to remove weeds from the garden, but we're just going to cut the leaves. Unless you take out the root, this problem will not go away. And the root, it's actually poetic. The root is Ruto. So let's get rid of him. Like, really. Yeah. So I'll just finish there.
Good point. Captain, Jackson anatuambia hatuwezi kutoa Ruto. Namna gani? We maoni yako namna gani?
Don't put words in my mouth. Wait.
You know, I have to put.
One point. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I add one?
Yeah,
more point?
Go ahead.
Yeah, about like, so what will happen to the government if we get rid of the president? If you're saying we'll get rid of everyone, what will happen? I think in the past 2 weeks we have shown that this country does not lack competent leaders. I'll just give the example of Hanifa, who has done a better job than NHIF in 2 weeks than they have done in the whole, like, I don't know, 2 years or whatever. So I think let's not underestimate ourselves. We'll figure it out. That's all I can add. Thank you.
Okay, good point. Captain.
Yes.
Bado huko?
Niko. Ulikuwa unataka niende?
Nilikuwa nakoja, ulikuwa umenyamaza sana, nataka kusikia maoni yako. Unajua wewe ndio uko na point kali hapa.
Unajua nimesikia James amesema ati sijui State House, sijui Ruto must go ama nini. Maybe nilisikia, na unajua sasa tutasikia akisema don't put words in my mouth. Let me ask you, Jakes, if William Ruto will resign now, how do you think it will be?
What do you mean?
Unaongea lugha gani ya kinyumbani ndio nikueleze na hiyo? Ndio nimeuliza na Kiswahili. If we say William Ruto should resign immediately right now, you wake up tomorrow morning, William Ruto is no longer there. What next?
The constitution is quite clear. We know what happens. We all know. There's no lacuna.
I
There's
don't
no,
know.
there's
I
no,
don't know.
there's
I
no
don't know.
like.
I don't know. Let me know, because the genesis of this thing, it was finance bill by Gen Zs that we don't want this thing to be dropped. Now
Yeah.
it is generating to something else that Ruto must go. Let's occupy State House.
To me, finance bill is what broke the camel's back. All right. There were more myriad of issues that people had, and that's why they're coming up. People had issues from First Lady's office to CDF to corruption to people wearing watches to the 20 million harambes. You know, the issue that eventually broke the camel's back was the finance bill. But now everything that was in the archives is coming out. So from where I sit, finance bill was the trigger, but there are more issues, underlying issues. And that's why
for me,
this term seems not to be going away. So you have asked what happens if Ruto resigns. It's obvious his deputy takes over. He is sworn in as president and serves for the remainder of the term, just like what happened to the governors. If a governor is impeached, the deputy governor becomes the governor for the remainder of the term. If it is more than half, inakuwa count anaweza serve for 2 more terms. Kama ni mapema kama saizi, this will be counted as 1 term, so you can only run for another 1 term. So those are the things. But as it is, I I don't know. From where you see it, sometimes let's even ask ourselves these hard questions. Can Ruto resign? Let's be honest.
for me, you cannot ask me, Jakes, can Ruto resign, because I'm not Ruto. I'm captain. That question you will hire it to William Ruto himself. That can you resign, and he will answer you. So for me, I don't know what it entails, because I cannot have any substantive evidence to say that the president must resign. I don't know that. That is your own words. Because whereby now,
but I wanted to respond to Nish Kidogo. I wanted to respond to Nish before you come in. I don't know if I'm allowed or I wait, but go ahead.
Jakes, hapa to orodha tunaenda vile hata mkitaka kupigana mangumi, I can produce the platform for mangumi. Endelea with the permission of Kip, because Kip, it was, I mean, Captain, because it was
my time.
Yeah.
So now
go ahead. Go ahead.
Jakes, kazi yako ni ngumu sana, but Jakes.
No, hakuna kazi ya mtu.
Okay, Kip. Kip.
You know, Jakes is trying to be a politician, while in reality he's like Abdi Baduda. There's one guy who was wanting president a long time ago. We don't know where he went. I don't know if he's still in Kenya.
Abdu Badida.
Okay, Jakes.
Usitamani kusikia comeback. I don't know if you're ready for comeback, but go ahead.
Can you question Nish, and then I'll come back, no problem.
Okay, Abdu Dida. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, Jakes.
Now, we are a country of law and order. We are governed by the Constitution. We know how IBC comes to play. We know what happens for an office of a president to be declared vacant, because whether he resigns, dies, insanity, incapacitation, and whatever, there must be some laws that are observed. Now, him resigning, as I said, it needs a lot. The push has to be relentless. Right now, the fire is not as strong. I don't know. I didn't see it as it ought to have been after the finance bill was dropped. I feel in a way a good cause has been hijacked. I feel in a way the momentum is slowly fading, not fading per se, or rather it's losing traction kidogo, because even supporters, some are sitting now on the fence, literally sitting on the fence. They're saying, now let's talk. We don't need to ban our country. You get. So from where I sit, there's also something I want to disabuse. I don't think this thing lacks leadership per se. In a way, it has leadership. In a way, kind of pseudo leaders, in that there are guys who print the posters or circulate the posters. It has to have an origin. Kidogo na skime, it becomes viral. Kuna guys who hold the space on X. It has hosts. In that level, they are leading it. So kila mtu ana participate. There is not that direct leadership, but there is can I call it a degree of leadership, because it has someone doing something. Eventually, the outcome is evident. There is someone who is mobilizing the doctors, or rather, somehow they have come together. There's someone leading the space. Even this money, there's someone who is able to coordinate it when you're in a camp. So somehow, I wouldn't say it lacks leaders. I wouldn't say so. There is leadership, but we don't have a direct leader useme hii kundi inaongozwa na fulani wa fulani. We don't have that. So that's why it's difficult to really appoint or apportion blame to anyone, because you don't have direct leaders. My point was, even when we want to change the government, someone must be willing to take us to that level. It has to have that person. Think of any country, hata uende Burkina Faso, kuna mtu alienda akaichukua. Maybe you remind me, Kenya Rebel, the name. I'm forgetting the name of that young man. I'm forgetting his
I know
name.
who you're
There's
talking about.
someone,
Yes, I know who he's
yeah,
talking.
someone
Ibrahim
who has
Traore.
been
Ibrahim
willing,
Traore.
yeah, with the backup of either the military or the people, someone must be willing to go the whole hog. Lazima push with the support of maybe now Gen Zs. Yeah, unless sasa si tuseme katikati yetu tutaequip J, tumpush naye J awe na the confidence na the charisma na the ability na the everything the way to go for it. That way it will work. But with everyone, let me ask you, Kenya Rebel, point
Yes.
blank, how many guys are coming out to say we are leaders in quotes? Tujamaa twingine hata hujai tuona anywhere. All right? Nowhere, like even a tweet or even in a WhatsApp group, they are nowhere, but they're claiming to be leaders.
But I suspect they're being sponsored by the government, I think.
You get my point?
Yeah, I get you.
So as long as we don't have someone who can say, you see, like how Raila would say, vijana fire, and we go until we are told we stop. Now because of lack of that leadership per se, we lack that. Like as I said, the first leader was finance bill. He was the one uniting us, all of us, and that's why it was easy mtu kujitoa. Saizi tumeanza kukosa what inakutoa kwa how. Just saying Ruto must go probably might not really drive, but if we have an agenda, let's say we are rejecting, let's say for example CDF or something, inaweza kuwa na more na more, just like the finance bill had, rather than just saying Ruto must go, was used during the finance bill. The finance bill really dropped, but Ruto remained. So what am I saying? Dania said we need to go for the roots, but I can equally argue like this. You can remove all the leaves from a plant, that it has no way of making food, it has no way of supporting the roots, and eventually the whole plant will die. So
if you
small
remove all the
successes,
leaves,
you prune it completely, that the roots cannot, there is nothing they're anchoring, there is nothing they're supporting. So it's not really about going for the roots, because at times going for the roots might not work, but we can as well prune the plant to the level that the roots are, what do you call it? You frustrate the roots that they resign. All right. So we can frustrate so many things. We can use tactics of frustration, because him on his own, he might not do it, but maybe frustrating can work. So for
Is
me,
this guy
I
an
would go for
editor or
tactics that would work, not just for slogans that might probably not work. Yes, Captain.
What a little Bernard K. Just hold on 1 second. 1 second. Ani anasema the Jakes ataki aende.
No, he must go. He must go. But the
I
issue
get
is,
I get your point, Jakes. Niko na kuenjoy it. But let me bring in Nani and Bernard. Bernard, hello. Very quickly then.
Yeah, mnanisikia?
Tunakusikia vizuri.
Yeah, so this thing about Ruto must go, I think it has to sustain the pressure. And one thing people are not saying is that the Gen Zs have accomplished so much. Number one, Ruto hasn't left the country. Since this thing started, he hasn't left the country, and he's not going to leave. Because I had one of the guys, one of the sycophants who loves Ruto, the guy called Cosmo Choi. I think he's from either Atlanta or Texas, I'm not sure. So he was saying in his TikTok that telling Ruto, don't leave the country, because if you do, you may not come back. Gachagua is going to take over. He's going to remove you. Actually, Cosmo Choi is trying to create another angle to this thing. But the point is this. The demonstrations, the protests have made Ruto extremely scared and extremely fearful of what's going to happen next. And that's a massive, massive accomplishment for the country. The other thing that has happened, you saw Boni Halwala in Parliament today saying that Ruto should abolish the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Now, Boni Halwala is some extent a Ruto ally from Luyaland. So you can start seeing that the impact on the country from this protest is just massive, because now you have Ruto's coalition completely dismantled. You have now Boni Halwala saying one thing, turning against Musalia Mudavadi. He talked about Rachel Ruto's office that has to be either removed, and with 200 something employees. That's happening. Then on the other side, the Gen Zs have emboldened Gachagua. Gachagua has, is giving another onslaught. And this is one party, UDA. We're not even talking about the opposition, like in Raila. So these are massive, massive accomplishments. So the idea of saying Ruto must go on the streets, you might not see the guy come down tomorrow. But my God, he is like an aeroplane. If Ruto was an aeroplane, he is losing altitude. And when an aeroplane starts losing altitude, we know one thing for sure. It's going to end up on the ground at some point. So saying Ruto must go, you're piling pressure, and his house is falling. So I hope Gen Zs keep up the protests every Thursday and every Tuesday. And things are coming. This guy will eventually be forced out. His own party will turn against him and tell him, dude, because right now we are in a strange situation. He said he removed the finance bill, but he has no powers to do that. So the thing is going to become law in 14 days or I don't know how many days. So that thing could automatically become law. Then we're back to square one on the streets saying reject finance bill again. And we get to that point, you might be even bloodier than the first time. So that's my take. And another thing I like about this whole thing is, like, you, Kenya Revolutionary, I never knew who you are. I never met you. I never saw your face. But because of these protests, now I'm talking to you.
Thank you. Mi ndio wale watu Jake walikuwa nasema they're becoming leaders. Unatoka na press conference.
Yeah, so much is happening.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
I'm getting to meet people. I'm getting to hear about other Kenyans. And I'm so impressed that there's so many Kenyans spread out all over the world who love their country so much, who are tuning in, who are talking nonstop on X Space or whatever it is. I mean, that's as a result of the Gen Z protests. So, and as long as these protests are going on, these conversations are going to continue online or whatever they're taking place. And it may not be even Gen Z thing now. I think it's the whole country talking to each other, trying to figure out how to get out of this mess. For me, I'm for Ruto must go. And also, people should realize marching to State House does not mean we go and burn State House. It's symbolic. If we were to get 1 million people, and it's going to happen, by the way. And the other day you saw Miguna entered, was given an audience by the Gen Zs on X Space, and he spoke with them. And that guy is no joke. So if 1 million people gather in Uhuru Park and they start marching towards State House, they don't need to get to the gate. All they need is for the TV cameras to show a stampede towards State House. Then the drama is going to follow is like in tennis, we call it unforced errors, when you make your opponent make mistakes. So, and then the mistakes go against him. You didn't do anything, but they just messed themselves up. So Ruto he'll go crazy if he hears there's 1 million people at Uhuru Park and they're about to march.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just gonna start doing crazy things. You know, like the way he deployed the military, which backfired against him, because the military didn't even shoot anyone. So that has to be sustained. We have to keep saying Ruto must go, and we must actually announce a date for a march to State House. And we can say up front, nobody's armed. We're going to have a petition, and all we're going to do is leave that petition at the gate. That's it.
Yep.
If you remember, when Raila had his maandamano about the election that was stolen, which I believe it was stolen, by the way, he actually had an idea of marching to State House and actually organized a date where protests would go to State House, and Martha Karua spoke about it. So what happened next? Ruto built a wall around State House. I don't know if people know that. State House has that evergreen, used to have that evergreen fence and a metal and some evergreen. So in some parts you could see through. You could see the gardens. Today we have a brick wall. And that was built during the Mandamanos. Ruto is a man scared of the people, because he has no idea how to govern the country. He has no idea of where to take the country. He sees himself as some type of king who should not be questioned. He should, do whatever the heck he wants, steal as much as he wants, and no one should say anything to him. Once you start questioning him, he becomes incredibly confused. So and that tells you why he built that wall. So by announcing a date of a march to State House, this guy could even leave the country.
All right, Bernard.
I'm not sure, but he could even pee on himself. I'm not sure what he'll do.
All right, let me bring in Jay the Niche. I wanted to tell Jakes this. Jakes, when the people say we are removing Ruto must go, they are talking about Ruto and his whole cabinet. In fact, it's everyone, MCAs, MPs, kila mtu. Now, I know you'll ask this, and I know you are stressing this point. You're saying, so who will be, you have to have somebody there, whatever the case is. Right. You're right. The person who can be there, let's say we can have a 3-month interim government, which can be the military, who can say, okay, they'll agree with the people that for the next 3 months, the military will be in place, the general, whoever that general is, because we the people, it is in the constitution. If our representatives fail us, we can represent ourselves directly. Okay? So it's not that we are breaking the law. If you go to State House now, say, Ruto, kazi yako imeisha, nyizi MPs, you're done. You're fired. You're not representing us. So we can do that and say, okay, military will rule for 3 months, and after 3 months, within these 3 months, there shall be a fresh new general election, and we choose who is going to be the head of the IEBC and all that stuff. Because, like I think Nish said this, tukingoja tuweke IEBC, Ruto ataweka Murkomen to be the head of IEBC, and Murkomen will choose whoever he wants to choose. Vile Nanel Kwanasema, Stalin said, it is not the people who vote who determine the elections. It is the people who count the votes who determine the election. Jay, it's on you. What do you think? Am I crazy still thinking that, like Bernard said, and I agree with him 100%, we say 25th August, land our State House, everyone from everywhere goes. Do you think I'm still crazy?
I think to some extent this whole Occupy State House thing is a bit of a fantasy, because what will it achieve? I think Ruto will just, as soon as he sees one crowd heading towards State House, he gets a helicopter, goes to some state lodge somewhere, then just tries to wait it out. But if there is an interim government, I think it will have to be civilian, if I'm being honest, because it needs to have a way of legitimacy. And there's an option where the interim military government can decide not to hand over power. But then also another thing to add on is the infighting isn't only in UDA. Even in this so-called movement, is also infighting, because that's like we say, my favorite color is red. Someone will tell you you're being sponsored. So that's the unity. The unity within the movement has to be figured out first before deciding to do what's next. But at the same time, you don't want to lose the momentum. So that's the challenge we're in.
Okay. Now you asked the whole point of going to the State House is the significance of it. Whether Ruto still maintains power after we go occupy State House, the whole point is, like I said in the beginning of this show, the whole point is to when you occupy the State House, you delegitimize him. Yani unamweka nobody. Let's say even if he wants to go meet Museveni in a meeting, Museveni will say, "We unakutana na mimi as who?" If the people already don't have rejected you, you have no say. You're not reflective of the people's will. Okay,
that's correct. That is very correct.
So even if he still maintains power, he loses the legitimacy in the world stage and even within Kenya. Already people, kama watu wherever they are going, they're being stoned. They are not letting them speak. So that's the whole point of going to the State House. We already made news worldwide when we went to the Nenio, we went to the Occupy Parliament, and you saw Nigerians are also going to do it, Zimbabwe and all that stuff. We inspire them. You can see it on TikTok. So that's the whole point, Jay, just in case you're wondering. Yes, you're correct. The interim government may refuse if it's the military, but I doubt it. If Kenyan military, given the Nino, they're pretty disciplined. So if the people's will is that, hey, listen, we signed something, we say, listen, military stays there for 3 months, while within these 3 months, election shall be conducted, IBC will constituted, then we choose new MPs, MCAs, governors, and all that stuff that we people want. But anyway, Nish, you're next. What do you think about Jake's position, Ben K, and whoever? Any touch on anything?
Yeah, I think. Well, I'll answer Jake's first because he called me out. Just a correction. I didn't say you take the plant by the root. I said you take the weeds by the root. We're not talking about any regular plants. We're talking about weeds. They are very specific. If you don't take them out by the roots, they will come back, they will multiply, they'll do this and that. Anyway, while we were having this conversation, I went to ChatGPT to ask what will happen if you take out the weeds and you don't take out the root. And it gave me like 5 things that happen. So I'll give you that homework to go and read through that. But yeah, so I think the idea Bernard gave is pretty much the same idea Kenyan Rebel gave at the beginning about bringing people from all over to come to Uhuru Park, and then we go to State House. I think that's a good idea. I think that the only difference is, Kenyan Rebel proposed something like, let the politicians who are claiming to be on our side fund the buses. And I think it makes more sense to ask the Kenyans who are in the diaspora to fund those buses. I think the Gen Zs would be more willing to accept that, because they've already been funding other things. They've funded some T-shirts, some banners, and things like that. So I think like the more this movement stays with the people and not with the politicians, the better chances we have. And about going to, I forgot what the last point was that we were talking about. Yeah, I forgot. I'll just stop there.
Okay. Captain,
Yes.
niambie mafikirio zako. Huyu Jex anatuchokoza hapa, anatuambia sijui tuogope sijui nini. I'm picking on him.
You're making me sound as though those are things I say, but anyway.
So can I contribute again my time to you?
If you want to, it's your time. So if you want to,
you are calling me and you want to take over from there.
Go on.
Huh?
Go on.
Okay, listen, Kenya Rebel. What people are discussing here is something that I don't understand, because it's like you people, you have witnessed before that what you want to do in Kenya has been done before. So you'll be the second people to do it. Do you think even these things you are saying, Ruto must go occupy State House, is something that it's a walk in a park? Kenya Rebel?
No, it's not easy.
It's not easy, bro. It's not easy. The only thing that maybe I can myself try and speak to Gen Z is it's not that we are well in the country. No, things are not going in order. Things are not moving to the correct or the right direction. There are some things that are not up to the expectations of Kenyans. Maybe now, because the president must have said that he's ready to listen, we can have a dialogue, we can discuss, but only problem is that Gen Zs, they have no any leader. Like the way Jakes put it, even if the president says, let's meet, who is that leader who is going to meet the president? We don't have leaders. There is no way a president can go and sit in Uhuru Park and say, now, these are the leaders or these are the complainers. I want to listen on them. Who will control this group and listen to the president? You know, sometimes we have to be organized. Even though we are raising a very serious idea that needs to be listened, we need to be organized. You see? Like now, so we say, no, oh, Gen Z, they have no leaders. We are just occupying State House. The issue was finance bill. Now finance bill has been dropped. You want to be listened. How can we listen to you? Tell us. Because the president is not a liner that I want to be to listen to this and that. No. You yourself, you are the ones to pick the idea and tell the country that we want to be listened in this way and that way. You understand? Kenya Rebel, just trickle that face of yours to understand what I'm saying. I'm seeing the way you are trickling your face to understand what I'm saying. The Gen Zs, they have no leader. That is what you have to know. The government are ready to listen to these Gen Zs. But how many Gen Zs do you have in Kenya? How many Gen Zs do you have outside Kenya? We have Gen Zs even in United Kingdom. We have Gen Zs in America. We have Gen Zs in Europe, wherever we are, some of us, or wherever. How can we be listened? It's not just like going to Uhuru Park there and we make noise. We need a constructive meeting with the government and we hear or we give out our views on what we want. Not just making noise online 24 hours and we say, tomorrow we put on white t-shirt, we have water, we have smartphone, and then the goons take over to take people's property and businesses, robbing businesses. We are not heading to anywhere. We have to go back to drawing board and we sit down and ask ourselves, how can we meet a government and we discuss on how we can air out our views to the public and to the government, not by secrecy, whereby mtu anaenda State House pale anapewa milioni moja. Once James hata akipata 200 naona atatoroka anaenda pale. Watu wakipewa pesa Kenya wataanza kufinyilia wengine, and we know that. Mnacheka hapa bure na nyinyi tu ni nyinyi mtaongwa kunyanyasa wengine. Hakuna hiyo. We cannot allow that. We need the whole world to know that Gen Zs have met with the president in public, and they have discussed this and that, and they put it to the public, to the whole world, to know what we have agreed and what we want. That is what I can say, Kenya Ribe.
Okay, nilikuwa na swali lakini tutaenda kwa Jex. Jex, wewe inaonekana ukipewa 200.
Kenya Ribe. Kenya Ribe.
Yes. Hebu ngoja Jex, naona Bernard has a burning point. Nakuja kwako Jex, you're next, but just give me 1 second.
I wanna ask the guy who just spoke.
Yeah.
Just something so simple, because he seems to be categorize Gen Z and jengine mira sikubali na yeye. Something so simple. Gen Z are asking, how the hell is Mythical Inturi still the Minister for Agriculture after selling fake fertilizer? Ruto has been unable to fire him. Okay, Gen Z like a manifesto kwa online with like 15 points. That's one of them. Mpaka wa leo Ruto ameshindwa kumfuta kazi. So we don't need a meeting.
Kenya Rebel, kindly, Bernard, give me 1 minute. Kenya Rebel, we've discussed that even before. Yeah. And now I've asked that our people, they were given stones as fertilizer. The minister himself said, I will not resign. We have somebody by the name Faruk Kibet. Even a cabinet secretary cannot see the president without passing through Faruk Kibet. Who is Faruk Kibet? You cannot come here to cheat us that Faruk Kibet is just appointment to president ati anasaidia president. How? Unasaidia mtu alafu uende kwako mkono tupu? Hauna watoto? Hauna bibi wanakungoja? Lazima ukule. Okay. I think Bernard maybe is coming here late. We've been discussing that, bro, that these offices that we have, that like even the cabinet secretary Mudavadi, where is that in the constitution?
Okay.
Where are those things?
Okay, wacha Jex aongea alafu Bernard atakuwa next, alafu mtajadiliana na Bernard. Aya, Jex, uwanja ni wako. Wacha ni mute. Ngoja. All right. Oh, mute. Endelea.
First of all, I need to make this quite categorical that I totally wholeheartedly agree Ruto must go. All right? So that I'm not misquoted by anyone. But I equally want to have it bear fruits. For me, it's about bearing fruits. Because we have been here before. The Ruto must go is not a Gen Z's thing. Because if you remember March 20th, 2023, I think, we had a date with Destiny. And that was the clarion call. Ruto must go, open the servers and all that nonsense. Let me not use nonsense.
But that was Azimio party. That was Azimio.
Yeah.
It wasn't the people of Kenya.
Correct, or whatever it was. But we had a date with Destiny. That didn't materialize. Now, for Gen Zs and everyone else like me who have that idea now, for it to bear fruit, it has to be strategic. It has to be intentional. It has to have, it has to have the ability to push all the way through. Sio ile ati tukitisho kidogo imeacha. Unaniget? And that's why I was saying we need something that pushes, like a driving force, kind of. So, for me, from where I sit, Ruto going would mean we need to make him feel I have no choice but to go. We have to make him, because we can't remove him through our jeshi. He has already given them assignments, so we are not going to use our jeshis. We cannot remove him through incapacitation or saying he's mad and all, because that one will have to go through Wetangula. That cannot work. So the only other avenue is for him willingly to say, I resign. All right? Now, for that to happen, we must push him. And that's why I said, I celebrated the small wins, but I equally said we can achieve more to the level that he himself feels. Kulingana na hizi vitu, just like Musalia Mudavadi outwardly admitted that a fall of finance bill is tantamount to say we have no confidence with the government. So if we can do so much that William Ruto says, I am unable to govern, I'm unable to lead the country has refused, the nation has rejected me, in clear conscience and in clear sound of mind, I choose to resign, that will be a good day. That will be the best day in our country. But we have to be intentional. We have to have strategy. We have to have things we are doing. Just singing it might not work, but having hashtags, just like we did with finance bill, by having very well laid out strategies. For example, it was obvious, ikifika saa sita, all bars, mziki nazima, watu wote wanaanza, Ruto must go reject the finance bill, even, and it would trend. All right. So for me, I would go for action, right? I would go for action plan. This is what we can do. This is how we can achieve. This is how we get there. But without that, we will be here again next year talking about how. The other thing we can still do, if this one fails, we can think forward. Let's have the IBC. Let's get the Gen Zs and everyone to register as voters. Let them also equally come out and vote, because it's equally another tragedy that some of these guys never voted. That's a tragedy in that they never participated. They sat on the fence. They didn't support Azimio, Wajakoya, or anyone. They chose to sit on the fence. They chose to do nothing about it. But in 2027, if we have no other option, we must do something about it. Register as voters, come out and vote. It's one thing to say you are doing something. It's another thing to actually do it. For now, let's push on with this one, with strategy, with clear agenda, with clear plan. If it fails, I'm not saying I don't want to be that person that just believes it will work. I also want to have a plan B. If it fails, we ought to think of how else can we remove these guys? How else can we teach these leaders a lesson of their lifetime? Just like the finance bill taught them a lesson. No government again will ever take finance bill as a matter of a joke. Never again. That's something Gen Zs have achieved. Never again will public participation be taken lightly. Matters will be taken seriously. It will, and I pray that this will move and dissolve into other areas, other departments, that even stealing public money, it gives you fear. All right. So for me, Gen Zs have achieved, but the next phase of what we plan or they desire to achieve calls for more. It has what we call a higher calling. Kenyans ready for it to push. Kenya Rebel, I may shock you. Hapa captain atasema Ruto must go, but hautamwona kwa street.
Captain ako Portugal.
Atakuwa busy, anatuchapa chocha jinsi tunafaa tuwe, na he's not supporting in any way, both online, both on the nothing. So for it to work, everyone must be on board. It must be bought by everyone. Just like the finance bill, to reject it was bought by everyone. The call for him to...
Yes, just a question as you continue. Just a question. Let me ask you from where you sit, because I have heard you saying, keeping on saying from where I sit. We know you are sitting there. You are not standing. Was the finance bill a problem, or was William Ruto a problem, or State House is a problem? Where exactly is the problem with you? You yourself.
What do you mean? Me, myself?
You said, oh, Ruto must go to the finance bill, this and that, occupy State House. You have said a lot of things.
Now,
we
at the risk of you sounding like Oscar Sudi, at the risk of you sounding like Oscar Sudi, I might not.
No, not sounding like Oscar Sudi. Trump tried to look for a
Can I answer that question?
Yes, answer the question. Because now the finance bill has been dropped. Now the government or the William Ruto have said, I'm ready and I'm down to work with these young children of ours, that can we come and sit down or we discuss what next?
Can I answer this?
Now the judges, the way they are answering.
Let me answer you and then allow Anish to equally respond. Let me
And Ingrid
answer
also
you
is here, but go ahead, Jakes. Go ahead.
quickly. I'll give you 3 things. Number one, which report in Kenya has ever worked? We have had endless of sit downs. We have had endless of commissions. We have had endless of guys trying to solve issues from here to Timbuktu, and nothing ever works. Number one, we have the Ndongo report, the TGRC. We have even the NADCO just the other day. It has not been implemented. Having a sit down with William Ruto is just another dance of goats somewhere.
So you think from all those reports you have said, only this one of William Ruto, you think that it will work. The other ones have never been working. This one for William Ruto, now you have seen that it will work.
No, I think you need to listen. Nothing has been implemented from the reports that people discussed. So even this one is tantamount to suffer the same tragedy. NADCO report, the latest one, suffered the same. So having a sit down, and some of the things that the Gen Zs are asking for, they don't require a sit down. What formula do you need to fire a corrupt individual? What sit down do you need? What form of mathematical calculator do you need to calculate the distance from you firing the person and the person leaving the office because of them being unable to deliver, corrupt, incompetent? What formula needs discussion? What don't you understand? Sorry.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's let us get Ingrid. Ingrid has just entered the conversation. Then we'll go to Nish after Ingrid. Ingrid, karibu.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Don't let the accent fool you. I'm half Kikuyu, I'm half Indian, and I'm a very proud Kenyan. I just want to put my 2 cents in. So during Moi's government, my mother's property was stolen, and it led to myself living on the streets and just having nothing to live on. And so I left, I went abroad, and now 30 years later, I have come back to Kenya with what little money I managed to make to come back and live here. And then I've come back to the same shit 30 years later. And this asshole is killing people in the streets the same way that was happening 30 years ago. There's no discussion to be had. And then the OGs like me, I'm approaching 50. We can't do much, but now we're in a state where the young kids are feeling the same frustration from 30 years ago, and they're risking their lives. That's the level of frustration that's going on here. There's nothing to discuss. He has to go. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Keep going.
Yeah.
So
it's just ridiculous. 30 years? I've left 30 years and I sold everything. I put all my stuff on the street. I sold my house to come back to my Kenya that I love so much. And this is what I've come back to. So nothing has changed in 30 years? It's not fair. It's not fair that the same thing that happened to my family and me is now happening to our future generation. They are the future of our country. How can you possibly kill your future? Who can possibly be so greedy? Who can be so greedy? We don't need millions to live on. I never came back with that much, but I came back with the little bit that I have. And these politicians want to do what? To live like what? P. Diddy or something? None of it makes sense. It's just ridiculous, and they've been getting away with it for years. And now it's just come to a point where it's so frightening because children are dying, Parents are grieving, everyone is shaking, and at the end of the day, who is feeding off of that? The people who are leading us? It's so frustrating. And the joke is, if we all united, if the police and the Gen Z, and if we all united as a people, Kenya would be one of the most powerful countries in the world. But we're split and divided all the time. Colonialism still now. It's just, yeah, that's my 2 cents worth.
Thank you, Ingrid.
I think
Nice to hear from you. Please make sure you subscribe and like, and hopefully you'll be a guest here all the time. We're always here every day. Nish, you are itching for a response. Nish, then Jay, then Captain again, then Jakes, and we go.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, the first thing I was going to say was about how it doesn't make sense to hold a dialogue, but I think Ingrid just explained it much better than I could have. So I'm just going to skip that. The second point was when Captain was asking about, so is the problem Ruto or is the problem the finance bill? And I think one way I think about it is like, let's say you have a headache and you go to the hospital expecting to get something for your headache, and then you find out your headache is because you actually have brain cancer or some other form of cancer. So will you say, I only came to treat the headache, so I will just take my Panadol and leave, or will you stay for cancer treatment? So what the finance bill was, that was the headache. It was the trigger. It was the symptom that just boiled over, and everyone realized, wait, there's a problem. Let's do something about it. And in trying to reject the finance bill, people realized this problem is actually much bigger than just one bill. This is like the whole government is rotten. There's literally a cancer in our government. So that's why the people decided, you know what, we're going to attack this cancer. And that's why we're saying now Ruto must go. So yeah, don't say like it was the finance bill and the finance bill is gone. No, that was just a small symptom of like a small headache. But now we're fighting the whole cancer. That's all I can say.
All right. Good point. That's analogy. The Panadol, the headache, and the cancer, brain cancer. I like that. Captain, before we go to Jay, I know Jay has been quiet for a while. Captain, ulikuwa na maneno. I saw you wanted to say something.
I was trying to say that what was Ingrid was saying that she left. I think she left the country during Moi era, which is now 30 years, and she came back only to find the same problem going on. I can tell Ingrid that it is not the same problem. It is the worst one. In fact, it is more even than worst. You left the country when William Ruto was the leader of YK92 with Jirongo and all whatever those times. But now you left the country when this guy was leader for youth, Kanu 92. Now he's the president. What do you expect? I've been seeing some people writing some things there about military or whatever, but I can tell them that I don't think we can expect something different from such a leader, because we've tried to hire now this issue Kenya Rebel for like 2 weeks now, and we are not. I can say myself, we are not getting the right way.
So Captain,
now we can move our country forward. Listen.
I'm listening.
Now, when we get the like new minds like Ingrid and other people, because we've been here even with Nish and other people. Jakes has never been here; he just came here today. Can you people help us? Or now we can do this thing in a way that we don't want to be like village people, that we want to remove a president without any strategy. We want to be well planned, and we say occupy State House when we have plans. And Ruto must go, and we mean what we say to be the truth.
Okay, good. Jay, then we'll bring in Lydia because she has just joined us. But just quick response to this whole idea of strategy. I mean,
I think I have a response to that.
You're going to respond to that? Okay, go ahead. Then Jay has been quiet. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Ingrid, real
Okay,
quick.
just a very quick response. My experience was when it happened to me, when they came and seized the land and everything, they burnt down our house, burnt it down 2 pieces to take the land. This is in Valley Road.
Oh, sorry
You can
about that.
imagine, and I was 17 years old. And my response at that time, my response was to run, just run away, just get out.
Okay.
But the Gen Z are refusing to run. They are refusing to be broken the way that this government has broken me. So in response to what your earlier guest said, there's no way. How is it possible to have a reasonable discussion with a government that has been stealing from us for years? And me, I'm okay. I'm not on the street, but what about these people who are protesting on the street who can barely afford food, or all the people with qualifications who can't find jobs? It's okay for us, but what about them? They have to go through the same thing that we were going through 30 years. This is what they are fighting for. And they have said it. There's nothing to discuss, because even the people that we will be having this discussion with have been living off of millions of dollars, not Kenyan shillings, dollars, having the good life. Why can't they have the good life too? Not even a good life with Lamborghinis and limousines, but at least have the right to have a decent life, an opportunity. There's nothing to discuss.
Okay, fair point. Sorry about your experience. Jay, then we bring in Lydia.
Yeah, I think Jakes and Kip both have the same idea. I think
Jakes and who?
Jakes and Kip have the same idea where there should be a need for strategy and some kind of plan forward, because at the moment, I guess it's an emotional topic, but you can't have our emotions take over our own rationality, because the plan forward, at least the general plan forward, should be, how do you back Ruto into a corner where his only option left would be to resign? That should be the main thing. It could be, I don't know, a general strike, government shutdown, who knows what happens. But then having a strategy should be the key thing, and not being so aimless. That should be the main topic. Yeah.
Okay, good. Before I bring in Lydia, I mean, I'm thinking the whole idea of not having a leader, I think it's a strategic move, because if you have a leader, it's easy to, bribe, kill, whatever the case is. So don't you think that's kind of a strategy or tactic? English is not my first language. Somebody define the difference. So I think it's not a bad thing. I think it's quite noble that these guys are not having one leader per se. So to say that we don't have a strategy, then number two, Jakes, and I'll come to you after Lydia. This whole idea of saying we need something that to kasirishi the outrage. We need the outrage and anger to remove Ruto. It's there. I mean, what can I say? Charlene is lecturing us about entrepreneurship while his dad is looting. I mean, where do I start? Lintur is still in office. They almost increased the salary for these dimwits in parliament. What else should we do? Do we need to? Anyway, Lydia Karibu. Then I'll come back to Jakes, my good friend. Thank you, Jakes, for stopping by the way. Lydia, are you there? Lydia?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Go ahead.
Sorry. I'm thinking this issue is really, really stressful, even for those who are away. I'm thinking a strategy. We know his businesses, right? His hotel. How about we protest there?
Yep.
Have we thought about that? Maybe protest at his businesses so that people don't go there, or
yeah.
Lydia, I've tried to say even here But some people, they see for me that maybe I'm a bit very harsh on my decision. But I've said,
No.
these people, even they have very big lands. We need to go there. The people around
Yes,
those lands, they must
because
divide themselves to those lands. Because they have
exactly.
no land. But the people
Yes,
here, they take
we
me that
continue
I'm
strat.
so harsh.
Right. I'm thinking we know his businesses, his hotels. Go and protest there. Any foreigner will feel sort of guilty because in America, if they have a problem with someone, they stop buying. It is a strategy. You continue protesting, some of them go to his business, surround, and just keep protesting. No violence, nothing. Just protest. Have pictures of the people who have died.
Yeah.
Can I
What do
answer
you
her?
think?
Can I answer her?
Yes.
So the way Kenya works is that Ruto was broke before he became president, and his hotel Weston was almost being received. They owed 1.2 billion to Kenya Commercial Bank. So the clients of Weston Hotel are not necessarily like, say, the United States, where you have Hilton having, retail clients. The government is the main client there, with all these never-ending retreats and meetings. So he wouldn't feel it right now if you were to go put placards there outside.
No,
Because
but it's his business, right?
True, it is his business,
Okay.
and but my thing is with that approach is that he's stealing such a massive scale that now Weston is just a small little.
No, listen. We have to do everything at our disposal.
By the
Okay.
way, that's happening. The people protesting about to go to protest at Weston, or some are even doing other things to it. That's happening already. It's in multiple discussions. People know he owns a hotel, and there are plans to do things there.
Because
But remember, also there was an MP in Nyeri whose supermarket was looted because people knew he owned that supermarket, and he voted yes in parliament to go and tax the people.
Okay, so
that stuff is happening.
Okay, I'm not going to say that I'm advocating for violence. That is anyway. But we have to do everything at our disposal.
Yes,
we know the businesses he has. I hear he has a business in Uganda, a petrol station. We have to do everything.
He also owns something called Amaco Insurance.
Exactly.
Which and by the way, Amaco was also going bankrupt before he became president. But now they're insuring all the vehicles, say for the Nairobi County. That's why he had to make sure Sakaja is the governor of Nairobi, so that he can get the contracts to insure the vehicles of the county through Amaco, which is owned by Ruto. So it's a cobweb of things. So
let's keep doing that. We shouldn't have this defeatist attitude like, but no, we do everything.
Okay,
it's happening already.
Oh,
it's happening.
But for your case, Bernard, as per you have said, Amaco. Let me just tell you, I've dealt with Amaco. I had an accident before, and I insured a vehicle on Amaco, but totally they refused. In fact, it was comprehensive insurance, but they refused to compensate me. I had to dip it in my pockets. So anything about Amaco, just forget it.
Okay.
Because you cannot do anything to him. He is just above everything.
Keep.
The way Lydia said, when we are in Nairobi, we have Gen Z in Nairobi. We have Gen Z in all over the country. Let me not mention the places. We know their businesses. It's not that we are fools. We know. What if we occupy all these businesses and we want to paralyze everything? Say that we are told, how are they getting all these businesses? Is it that somebody, when he's elected to power, are you supposed to get rich when you are in power? We have no any problem when he has even petrol station in Uganda, even in Evan, the way he has Tarling Center in Evan. Even if he has petrol station in Evan, we have no problem. But authentication of this petrol station and all whatever, is it qualified or it is the taxpayers' money? That is what we want to know.
Right. All right. Jakes is next, but here's what I wanted to say. Wouldn't it be easier to actually, all right, we put pressure. The aim is Ruto must go. rather than have a negotiation. Okay, this whole idea of going after his businesses, that's fine, but as we all know, Ruto, some of his businesses are actually outside Kenya, and we can't quite get a hold of it because it's out of Kenya. But if we take government and we put somebody else who can actually go after those businesses that are outside of Kenya using the government's, how government to government cooperation, that would be more easier. That's why I'm advocating this whole idea of Ruto must go. But Jakes, you've been quiet for a while.
We're protesting Ruto must go at his business, at all his businesses. We're doing everything. It's not just protesting in the streets. We're doing it but at his businesses, everything. In the streets, at his businesses, all of that.
Okay. All right, Jakes. Ulipewa 200.
One moment.
Ulipewa 200 imekutosha or what?
Now, I would look at it from a different angle. Hurting Ruto, him as an individual might not. That dude, I think, is a don't care. But what if we hurt what makes the country, not him, the country? For example, let's say we block all exits from the airport, meaning all our visitors, they land, but they cannot exit the airport. We go and park our cars kwa mabarabara zote, no movement, and we say we kind of paralyze major infrastructure, major institutions in ways that they are not violent, but they speak volume. That even visitors, before they land, they are like, "What's happening? I cannot move." It becomes a statement that is not just happening in Kenya, because us maybe targeting his business might not be as loud as compared to targeting key infrastructure or you see, when Gen Zs invaded parliament, that was very loud compared to other buildings they have invaded. So if we can invade key infrastructure, not to vandalize, but maybe to cause no movement, nothing, they're kind of shut, zimezimika, there's nothing happening. I tend to think that can give much or can sire much compared to just attacking Western Hotel, for example. Because as Bernard and others have said, he has stashed so much outside so that ukibomoa one structure, he is not really affected. He has more money. He has so much business outside there. So we cannot really hurt him at the business level, but we can hurt the economy to the level that he cannot operate. There is no money to even move around. There is nothing. All right. So for me, if we can drain the swamp, that there is no funding to his government, that can be more powerful, more resourceful. That can be a better strategy than, I don't know. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with general strike. So everything.
Yeah,
Farmers,
I agree with this.
Airport workers, transport, everything just comes to a shutdown because
yes,
if
doctors,
there's no
they down
income,
their
it
tools.
yeah.
The army, everyone. If everyone down their tools, like we have a national strike, nothing is moving. Hata yeye mwenyewe, he'll be moved to ask himself, if no one wants to go to work, if nobody is at work, if our roads are not moving, if nothing is operating.
His
A
V8 will
total
be stuck in a
shutdown,
container in Mombasa.
that one can speak volume compared to maybe attacking a premises or his business or even his home, because I heard even someone say, what if we pay his mother a visit, such things. But that one, I even heard that somewhere. I was like, wow, okay. So paying his mother a visit might not really shake him, but paralyzing the entire country, I think that can, especially key sectors like the airport, all right, like hospitals, like schools.
Jakes, I would slightly disagree with that. I would slightly disagree with that.
No, Kenyan, you don't have to disagree with everything that people are saying here. Let me say this. Let me applaud, in fact, first of all, what Jex must have said, that we need to have, we have JKIA in Nairobi. We have Moi International Airport in Mombasa. We have another one in Kisumu, and we have something else. I don't know, something else is in Eldoret there. When it is like tomorrow, where we have Gensis, whatever, let our people, our Kenyan people, continue running their businesses in the city. Like Nairobi City, no problem. Eldoret town inside, no problem. Kisumu inside town, no problem. I want us to, those people who are landing at the airport, you cannot get into airport and you cannot exit airport. We block those things so that even the international community, they can see that everything is on a standstill in Kenya. We don't have to go there. And the people who are landing, they are nowhere to go. And the people who are trying to go to airport, they are not going to airport. Obviously, they have paid their tickets, and they will feel that pinch where our people, where the shoe in our people is pinching them. I think for what Jex is trying to say, since I know Jex, this is the first time I'm trying to agree with him. But if he's looking for bunker points to go to State House, I'll deal with him with his head.
I was just saying this.
He has said something which is very good, because we are not decent. IMF is behind what is happening in Kenya. It is an international thing. Our America are looking at Kenya like this. Oh, you have a good president. You have this and that. If William Ruto is a good president, why America is not giving us free visa to go to America? You are going to United Arab Emirates to look for work for our people. 30,000 is money to give our people.
Hey, can I ask that guy? Can I answer you?
Okay, go ahead, Bernard.
Yes, Bernard.
So Ruto was rigged in by Biden, okay? That's a Democratic president. That doesn't mean Americans like Ruto. And Biden is on the far left. He has a radical agenda, which is reducing greenhouse gases and all these far left ideas, reducing the consumption of oil, making Kenya green. He rigged Ruto in for that reason. Right now, Biden is not doing very well in the polls, and he might drop out of the race for U.S. president.
Yeah,
So
he has been asked to drop out.
Yes, so Trump might come in November, and trust me, the people who rigged Ruto in are not the ones who will be in power in January. So Ruto has a different problem approaching him in a few months, because Trump will want Ruto out, because Ruto got a deal with Joe Biden to put Kenyan policemen in the island of Hispaniola, which is Haiti, against the wishes of Kenyans and also against the wishes of the African Union. So those are separate problems Ruto will be facing in January, significant, because the United States will want him out of office because of a change of administration, assuming Trump wins, and I hope Trump wins. So I just want to throw that in there. Also, you cannot shut down an airport. An airport is governed by international regulations that Kenya has signed up for under the IATA code. Because an airport is like a hospital. You have it's a critical piece of infrastructure that you have medicine coming in, you have food coming in. You cannot shut that down. You know, if Kenya was to go like in Haiti, one of the things the United States did is to make sure the airport in Port-au-Prince was open before they could even bring medicine and food. So an airport can be shut down. So that's an airport, hospitals, those are no-go zones. Our issues are political. Let's focus. Let's focus on political issues. And already we're winning. We're doing extremely well. Ruto is shaking. There's confusion in UDA. Few people are in silence. You know. I'm pretty sure some will resign, and we're doing well. So let's keep up the noise.
All right, let me bring in Nish because she's been quiet for a while. Then I'll bring Ingrid next. Then we'll go back to probably Jay, then Lydia. Let me bring in Nish. Nish, what do you think about what's my fellow panelists are telling us? Do you think we should shut down places, target businesses, or focus? As I said, Ruto is the focus. He's the head honcho. He's this rotten head we should go for. What's your take?
I'll say, well, I agree that, like hospitals are definitely no, you don't go there. And I think Bernard has explained very well why airports are also no-go zones. I think maybe I'm also curious, maybe you could educate me. What would happen if we protested like outside the foreign embassies? Well, I guess foreign embassies are foreign land. I'm not sure, but like if we go to Gigiri or something, like go to the U.S. embassy and like all his foreign friends, starting by the IMF and the U.S. embassy and things like that. Would that add to the pressure? I don't know, but definitely, yeah, I think Ruto is the main target. I think that the thing that scares him the most is that people come to State House, and that is evident by the way he has been reacting. Like when people went to Parliament, he knew instinctively, like, okay, they'll be coming to State House next, and he just went into panic mode. So if that's what scares him the most, it means that's what's the most effective. But yes, I think adding pressure from all sides is good, because we're not leaving him a way out. Like there's not, like right now he can't really do anything without being attacked or being condemned by the people, or probably even by his foreign friends. So yeah, I think we definitely need to keep adding the pressure. I think we need to keep aiming for the throat. Let's not be afraid to make the kill shot. Like I think, like the solution is very clear. It's just that we need to muster the courage to go for it. And I think he will run. I think if we really put that pressure, he will either run or whatever, but it will work. So, but in the meantime, until everyone is on the same page about that, I think we should really keep the pressure up and not get distracted by the false narratives. Like even when we see them acting well, like the politicians and so on, even when they start acting, it's not because they've changed, it's because they're afraid. So I think we need to keep all eyes on them, so that they can't even have room to do anything because they're so afraid. But it doesn't mean they have changed. It means like if we stop applying pressure, they will go back to their old ways. Right now, it's like that kid who is very naughty in class, and he will behave when he knows the teacher is watching him. But the moment the teacher leaves the class, he will go back to making noise. So that's exactly how they're acting now. So it's not that they have changed, and we cannot believe or trust that they have changed. They're just acting well because we have all eyes on them. So that's what we need to keep doing.
Good point. Jay, your pithy comments before we go to Ingrid?
No, I'm still for the idea of a general strike. If the social, the political, and the economic matters, they're not mutually exclusive, and it's all interconnected. Yeah, I guess it's a political issue, but then it's all connected both to the social and the economic. And for the general strike to actually work, it has to be united, because a lot of times when strikes fail, it's because one or two guys that decide to, oh, I'll take the deal instead of having to be united. But then I think getting organized and united and doing a general strike would be the best course of action, in my opinion.
More effective way for you. Ingrid, what's your take? Do you think
I'd like to just say I agree with the lady caller who just called in. It's just so clear. It's so obvious. If you go back and look at history, the greatest fights for freedom, you look at the Italian Renaissance, you look at the fight in South Africa for freedom, that was not done by any kind of round table talk or any kind of attacking the businesses of the people in power. It was done by people going to the street, and the people take back their power. And it's working. Look how well it has worked. The world is listening. And Ruto, really, if he had any ounce of being a gentleman, would just resign gracefully. God knows how many millions he has stashed away in offshore accounts. It's not like he's going to go away poor and suffer. He could just bow out gracefully like a gentleman. Say, you know what, guys, I messed up, I'm out. And go and enjoy the money he stole from us, and then let the new generation come in. The resolution, I agree with the last lady. I think it's just about people, the people have to take back the power. It's power to the people. And they have been taking the power that we have given them for granted for so long and abusing it. The power has to go back to the people. That's the only way I see forward. Yes, State House.
Good point. Good point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have about 20 minutes before we wrap up. Let's make our last case right now. You can spend 3 minutes. What state your position? I see Jay and Jake's and the captain, they're kind of leaning towards this economic, sabotage. Let's stop everything. Let's strike. That will force him, put pressure on him economically, and he will be like, okay, I can't govern. But with others, I feel, which I kind of associate myself with this view, we should face him head on. Popular revolution. Let's go to State House, humiliate him. Even if he doesn't leave power, it will show the whole world that he's not legitimate, okay, by just occupying State House. I mean, can you think about Sri Lanka? If the president would have come back to Sri Lanka after the people went to their version of State House, what will the world community view their president? They'll be like, what do you have to tell us? People don't even like you. You get kicked out of your own house. So let's make our case. If you're in a court, I'll start with Kip, then we'll go to Bernard, then we'll go to Jakes, then Jay, then Nish, then Ingrid. What's your position? Should we do both or just claim our power by one or the other? Let's go, Kip. Unaonaje?
Why are you putting words in my mouth?
I haven't even put anything.
Saying that economic sabotage, what does that mean?
Meaning what Jakes alikuwa anasema, tukistrike tuache kufanya kazi, downing our tools, sa serikali haiwezi kupata ushuru, basically striking. So haiwezi kuchukua ushuru kama tuende Weston to make sure to protest mbele ya Weston, his businesses and stuff, ama tuungane pamoja na tuende State House tumwambie toka Ruto, toka na akimbie.
So yes, because it's like you say you are sleeping in class. What we are saying is that the entrance to the all airports in Kenya, we are blocking them. We are not closing airports. We don't have even that power.
You cannot close airports. I've Bennett has explained.
Anyway. There's no way we can close airport. But you cannot enter airport and you cannot come out. There is no even taxi that can exit airport. But the planes can land and they can leave even empty without anybody. That's their business.
How will that help? If I may ask.
What?
How will that affect Ruto? Okay, ukisema ndege haziwezi toka ama zinatoka bila abiria. How will that really affect Ruto? Si moto tenda Uganda.
Do you think those people who have flown from JKI to other countries are some chokoras like me? Or the international people? They can call William Ruto direct and ask him what's happening. I'm not getting out of the country. I'm not getting into the country, and I've paid for the hotel. I've paid for my flight. Ndege si kama bro, ndege si kama kulipa na Ugenya kwenda huko Homa Bay. Sikiza vizuri sana. Hiyo ni pesa mzuri sana ambapo Kenya ingetengeneza tax hapo. So when we sabotage some things, even the president himself will atastuka kidogo aseme, what can we do? Can we discuss what we can do with these people? Because now our own people in Kenya will be running. Wewe ukifungua duka yako ya kuuza slippers hapo Moi Avenue, itakuwa sawa, ina operate. Kuna mtu amekuuliza. Mtu akifungua duka yake pale Kisumu inauza omena, ina operate vizuri sana. Lakini huwezi ingia airport na huwezi toka. Tunaelewa?
Lakini bado hold on. nani ukiwa na business yako he'll still collect taxes. Inatatuma ninio au maskari wachukue ninio whatever the ninio hiyo ushuru, and ushuru is what is eating. See what my point?
Ushuru now ndio inaenda county government of any county, which is okay, which means the government is making money. But these are the international community, we want them to feel what we are feeling. Watusaidie pia, waambie rais, mbona usikae chini na watu wako muelewane shida iko wapi? You see? Lakini sasa mkikuja platform natuambia, oh, even Gen Zs, they have no leader. Oh, how can we meet? How can we do that? Who say that? If they have no leader, mbona ina shake the whole world? Not Kenya alone. Ina shake the whole world. The president himself, he has to look for a way on meeting our people, our young youths, our mama mbogas wenye walikuwa wanaitwa state house, wanapatiwa hii nini ya kusukuma nywele yako kama hii. Unajua hata yuko state house uko nini kwa studio sababu umenyoroshwa nywele na ile nini Ruto aliwapatia na kunyolewa ndevu hapo nini. But those people, they are not getting pesa kwa mfuko vile waliahidiwa. If I may ask you one question, Kenya Rebel, that were it for Raila Odinga, if could have been a president now, unataka kuniambia watu wa Eldoret saa hii wangekaa bila 6,000? Jiulize hiyo swali mara mbili. Someone else can take off.
Okay, who's next, Jakes?
Now, when I said, when I talked about using strategy, I just gave one because I know there are many. We just need to bring our heads together. Because by the end of the day, it is how we get him out, because maybe one way might not work, but several ways might. And an idea always gives birth, if everyone ponders on it well, can give birth to a better or even the best of ideas. When I talked of parliament, airport, hospitals, and all that, I know we cannot shut down an airport, but I know staffs can go on strike. We have seen air hostess go on strike. We have seen pilots go on strike. We have seen doctors go on strike. There's nothing new. What would it mean when everyone is on strike? When they say on Tuesday, nothing works, nothing, no one goes to work. The government won't generate any taxes. The government won't function without money. One will have crippled one arm or one way in which the government functions. We look for other ways to still cripple him even further, because you have to push him until he submits. Because I as I've said, just singing and shouting he must go, he might not go, but acting and doing things that truly push him on the brink, and he's now at the verge of breaking, he will definitely have to say, I have, just like he saw he cannot push the finance bill further, because I remember that the MP still voted yes, the third reading, despite the country burning. But it was until it reached to some levels that even other countries were now telling him, you must reconsider this finance bill. It touched him to consider the finance bill, and of course he had to cede it. Now,
Jakes, to be fair to the people, they're not just shouting Ruto must go, they're also showing up in the streets. So they are actually acting on Ruto must go.
Yeah,
so it's not just singing, but go ahead.
Yeah, my point is, even on the finance bill, the push had to be intense. In fact, even invading parliament, that push, unanielewa? It was not just saying reject the finance bill, because tulianza we reject kitambo sana, but ilipita all the hurdles, ilipita first reading, second reading, third reading, mpaka ikafiki ilienda kukwama hapo mwisho kwa president mwenyewe. All right, so if the pressure was not too much, maybe Ruto angesign, because alisign at 2023, he signed despite people rejecting the housing levy, but alisign ikakuwa law despite all the lies. One ulikuwa urudishiwa after 7 years, wakaenda wakaichange from a levy now to a tax. You remember how it ili change, all right? So he hainge change, despite them, they even came up with some amendments just to appease the public, but the public said that we don't even want an amendment, we want it totally rejected. And the push, people being shot, parliament being invaded, several buildings being destroyed. Those are the things that pushed Ruto, because he was the talk of many international channels. I'm not sure if finance bill ya 2023 ili attract as much audience kama hii ya 2024, because the push ilikuwa kabisa, watu walitaka kabisa kupush, ilikuwa na more force, and that's what I'm calling for, more force, that he has no option. Unanielewa? But
Right.
just saying it, we have said about many other things before, all right, but probably they didn't work. But saying it and even pushing and putting more emphasis on and targeting things that will hurt, I think that would be more louder. That is where I am really emphasizing on, and that would be my final take.
Okay, thank you. Bernard, I'll give you next, then Ingrid, then I'll give Oliver to say hi to us. I'm sorry, Oliver, you came in late, but I'll give you a chance once after these two speakers come in. So Bernard, go ahead. Give us your take.
Mine is just keep it up, have more of these shows so that we can meet more people. Hopefully we get to know each other, exchange contacts, and get something concrete going. And some of us can make it to the ground, do some protests. It's about being in the streets. I like the lady who said the revolutions are won on the street, not in boardrooms or on computers. Yep, we gotta go to the streets, stay in the streets.
Good point. You heard what Bernard said. We can connect. If you guys feel you like everybody's points, there's a you can send each other's message if you want to exchange numbers and stuff. Jake, I need your number, by the way. So yeah. Ingrid, you're next. Then I'll bring Mr. Oliver. What do you think? Final submission.
Banangi hata sasa mimi sijui. Hey. Lakini tunasema ukitaka kukamata nyoka si unachinja kichwa, na hiyo kichwa ni State House. Ndio hiyo.
All right. Kichwa ni State House. Good point. Very succinct. Oliver, karibu. I'm sorry umekuja kuchelewa, lakini nitakupatia nafasi uongee dakika 3-2 utoe maoni yako. Unmute. All right,
hey
go
guys.
ahead.
Hi. My name is Oliver, and I would like to share some information on how to progress on. Mine is a brief, about 1 minute.
Okay.
Is that I've heard your conversation. I've been following the conversation, and I have heard the points. And what I want to say is that let us come together and build a strong army which can deal with this issue once and for all. Because as young people, as we have challenges, and we are the one to sort out these challenges that we are facing. So mine is that when we are organizing, let us focus. Let us put our focus in the main. When we capture the main sources where revenue is being generated, then you decapitate the entire country from running, because you have already cut down the sources that bring the revenue which runs the country. So I think it is better if we can have let me say, if we take care of those big projects which generates money to the economy, that this guy is using them to run, is using those resources to run for his life and the family, and his men who are rich and they are enriching by using other means. So there's such that when we block major roads, we take these big hotels, embassy, like a fellow person there said, embassies, those embassies that support this guy. When we be there, like the guy said that, like airport, we see, then I think we can push this guy to the wall. But again, my last point is that also we should not allow the goons to enter and destroy the properties of our fellow Kenyans who are workers like us, who are looking for something to put on the table, who are struggling like us. That is my last comment. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Oliver. I want you to be usiwe mgeni, be here every day, subscribe to the channel and like the video, of course. So nyote hapo mnaangalia, please don't be a stranger, always get in. Jay, before I go to Nish, Jay, what's your take? You're always you're the Wendy ulikuwa you were listening yesterday, but leo naona uko kichwa ngumu uonyeshi your video, but it's okay. I'll forgive you for today.
I think we can all admit that some momentum has been lost since last week after Ruto refused to sign the finance bill. I think people kind of got drunk on all the euphoria, then kind of lost focus. So I think there has to be some reorganization, finding tactics that actually work. Then, even if there's multiple of them, you can attack him from multiple fronts. It doesn't have to be either this or that. It can be a multi-front thing. So that's my closing statement. Yeah.
Good. Nish.
I think, attacking from many fronts might sound like a good idea, but I just wouldn't want us to lose focus. Because the more we get dispersed, the more the energy also gets dispersed, and it will be much harder to say, let's get 1 million people on the streets, So, because I still believe like that is the most effective way. And like I said before, that is his biggest fear. So that means it's the most effective way. And also I feel like whatever we do, I mean, okay, maybe we should think about it a bit more and come up with a better strategy, but whatever we do, we should not let the movement die. We should not let the momentum die, because like we have already lost so many people, so many young people whose lives were cut short because of this thing. And if we stop now, or if we let this momentum die and say, let's wait and see to the point where we can't even mobilize people anymore, then it should have been for nothing. So, because like I said before, these people have not changed. Even if they pretend to behave well now, it's not that they have changed. It's just like the moment you give them an opportunity, they will go back to the same stuff they were doing. So whatever we do, we should not let go of the pressure. Like they need to feel like there's nothing they can do, there's nowhere they can go, because they're always scared of getting attacked by the people, because they're living in fear because of their guilt. So we should not let the pressure go down. And I think like my opinion is still like, we should go for the head and just let's keep trying to get to State House, even if it means like every time we do a protest, the idea is like, let's get to State House, like let's see how close we get to State House this time until we finally get there. If you can do something like that, I think that would be the most effective.
Perfect. We have somebody who just got in, but we'll give him a minute. KB, Karibu, your first and last comments I have to give everyone a chance. Please, guys, make sure you like the video and subscribe so we can meet here every day. But KB, tufungie studio basi na maoni yako.
Hello.
Hi. Go ahead, KB.
Hello everyone.
Hi.
Mnanipata eh?
Yeah, tunakupata vizuri.
Yeah, all I like to say is the contributions are very okay. And one thing I would like to say is we need to be careful in that whenever you want any change, we don't need to ignore the provisions of the law. Remember that when you use too much violence to an extreme, you move the state closer to declaring a state of emergency. And when a state of emergency declared, the government either has more power or less power depending on the state of that government. And in terms of Kenya, when a state of emergency is declared, it will be very hard because the state can actually use the Supreme Court to extend or legitimize the state of emergency. And when the military is already on the road, we are getting closer there. So as much as we are seeking to implement something and fighting for justice, inafaa pia tujue sisi wenyewe pia tukivunja sheria tunapatia the other opponent an advantage. What has been happening is naona watu wana imefika point tunavunja sheria, and that will not work if we ignore the law. Because now the military is on the road. What will happen next is watu wakiendeleza nayo tactic, what will happen is wata declare state of emergency, and then Supreme Court is to declare legal na ita extendiwa to whatever, and that changes all the dynamics. Especially kitakwenda State House, I don't think it's the right thing to do right now. I think we should explore ideas and see what can be done, because ikifika state of emergency, it's military rule and the dynamics change totally. As we know, we have a bit of security knowledge. When it comes to that, you cannot protest when it's a military law. It's either you stay away or you get a bullet. And I don't think Kenyans have been in a state where we can handle a military government. Because some of us have worked in places where there's a military government. We have worked in war zones. If you have never handled a place where bullets are flying all over, it's really tough. So I think State House, with all due respect, you can be abandoned. Let's use other means. I don't know if you know about Jesuits.
Yes, the Illuminati, the whole hierarchy of people who rule the world.
All parts of government, like in the US, where they control things.
Right. But hey, KB, thank you so much for your Ninio. I have to end it here. It's been 3 hours. You guys are awesome. Jay, Nish, Ingrid, Jakes, yes, Captain Kama Kawaida, Bernard, KB. Please subscribe, like, share. Be here every day. When you see me, get the notification. Kama unaweza, kama wezi understand life pia iko. But I really thank you guys and I impugn you. Please subscribe, share, like. It's been wonderful. I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow ni holiday if you're in US. It's July 4th. For those of you who are going to vote in England, I think kuna election huko. And Kenya, there'll be mandamano. So kuna holiday kila pahali. So guys, I thank you so much. I'll be here as early as possible, probably saa 4 za usiku in Kenya. So you calculate that. That will be kind of 3 my time. I'm on Eastern time. So thank you so much. I will see you guys tomorrow. Any parting shot from anyone? Any last word you want to say before I leave? Say to the
Kenya Revolutionary, where are you?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Cool. I thought you were in Nairobi for some reason.
Maybe I am. You may know. Look like a crush on you.
I was like, this guy's too bold. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense.
Hey, you never know. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow again. Like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the good stuff. You know the deal, right?
All right.
All right.
Hey, can I put in one more word?
Yes. All right. What is it, Ingrid?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that you know, attacking the airports, the hospitals, or whatever. The most important thing is what you are doing now, which is communicating. It's on the internet, and the internet is the power. This is how everything has happened. So long as we all communicate and we're keeping ourselves informed and talking to each other, that's where the power is. And thank you so much for doing what you do.
Thank you very much for joining us. As I said, please like, subscribe, and put the notification on. So every time you're on, you can get the notification that we are streaming live, so you can join the conversation. And, you know, you don't have to join all the time, but if you can, join it. If you cannot, I'll understand, but we're always here every day. All right. Captain, ulikuwa na kitu ya kusema. You wanted to say something before I go?
Unakumbuka nini ulisema?
Ile kitu.
Unajua sai unaongea hapa na ukifika pale unaniblock.
Captain, behave yourself. Tukutane tuzungumze nyuma ya point. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Peace and blessings. Thank you so much. Bye. All right.